Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hello, and enjoying the Marketing Summit today, hosted by Giver Marketing Network. I'm Christine Deane, the Team Director at Giver Marketing, and we've had some fantastic speakers so far. So I know this afternoon is going to be just as much fun. Thank you to those that showed up and came and had a blast just networking with us during the networking meeting that we had in between. We are having so much fun with y'all. So we really love your support, and we love being able to give back to the community, and that's what we're up to today. So the second half, we're going to actually start off with Adam Fleming. And if you have ever thought about writing a book, this is the person you want to talk to. He's got a lot of experience in this area. And you know what? I'm just going to let Adam tell us what it is, just straight from his mouth. Here we go. And I'm really excited about our next speaker because he's talking about one of my favorite topics. And if you have ever thought about writing a book, this might be the one you want to listen to. So I'm excited. Let's bring Adam Fleming into the show. Hey, Adam.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you, Christine. Good to see you.
It's always wonderful to have you. I know we've had you on the Tuesday broadcast before, so having you on the summit here, woohoo, we're going to have some fun today. So Adam Fleming, you know, for those that haven't met you yet, well, wait a minute. Congratulations are in order. I heard you sold your business.
We did. Yeah, we sold Victory Vision Publishing last year, and it's weird to think of 2025 as last year, right? But it's been a little while.
So true. But, you know, that's quite an accomplishment. You know, for some industries, that's what the goal is, right? Build your business up big enough so you can sell it. But I'm sure you got bored after that because I can't imagine you just not doing anything.
Oh, it's kind of funny. If I listed all the projects that I'm involved with and then told you that I also think of myself as semi-retired, you'd be like, that doesn't sound like semi-retirement. But I am going to Belize tomorrow for 2 weeks. So
oh, great fun then.
Tomorrow, which is why we're recording this. Yeah.
There you go. Well, so that being the case, for those that don't know your history and background, tell us a little bit, how did you get involved in the whole book writing, publishing space?
Yeah. So I always loved the arts. In high school, I took ceramics classes and drawing classes. In my young adulthood, I messed around with stone sculpture and music. I played bass guitar for the church worship team for about 6 years. And then one day I was reading a book about Michelangelo, and it talked about how at 5 years old, he was cutting stones for just paving stones, just squares. And learning how the marble would break when he hit it, right? And I realized that what I'd really been doing since I was 5 was reading. And the thing that made the most sense for me to invest the rest of my life into artistically was writing. So I self-published my first novel in 2012, and learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, but the book turned out really well, and had a really good editor, which is really important. We'll talk about that a little more later. And then, over the course of time, met Julie Ballard through this network, actually through Timothy Morgan, and she asked me to run the company for a while, and then we sold it last year So I did some ghostwriting. I did some developmental editing. I decided I'm no longer interested in doing ghostwriting at this point. So I'm not available for that. But then after we sold that, we ended up, when I say we, I'm talking about my wife and I, my wife, Megan Fleming, joined up with Morgan James Publishing, which is a traditional publisher out of New York, known, I would say, significantly known as being the publisher that sells the most books per title of any publisher. So not as many titles as like Random House, but they're not throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what will stick 1% and letting the other 99%, rot in squalor. But we're actually interested in seeing all the authors do well. And so Morgan James is a little bit different, but we're excited
so you
about
completely changed your focus from just self-publishing into working with a major publisher. That's pretty exciting.
Well, it's cool to see people get foreign deals for translation rights for, be able to do. I don't know how much movie rights we do. I'm not sure about that, but translation, being able to sell in other countries, and some things that you can't do when you self-publish. So that's cool stuff.
Well, that's an exciting place to be. I know you've got some wisdom that you were going to share with us today, right?
Yeah. Well, do we have that slide? Can we show?
We do. Let me pull that up. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, and we should mention that I've written 20 books now. So that's cool.
That is totally cool. I don't know very many people that have written 20 books.
I've met a few who've written quite a bit more, but hey, let's hit that next one there. Cause this is just for a little bit of fun, everybody. The word of the day is Sundoku. I'm an author and I love word of the day type stuff. So the word of the day is Sundoku. It's a Japanese term about, I think it's only about 150 or 175 years old. It's a blending of two different Japanese words. I can't remember exactly what, but it basically means the charming quirk of buying books and letting them pile up with the intent of reading them someday. So if that's you, even though this is recorded, you just raise your hand, own it. And I want you to know something, because I'm really into adventure, and that's a whole nother chat. But I learned recently from somebody else at Morgan James that planning to read books does the same thing in your brain as planning a trip. So I think that's really cool. So plan lots of trips this year between the pages of a book.
I love it. Yes.
So that's just an encouragement to go read, or at least pretend that you're going to read by buying books.
Or pick up that book that's been sitting on your nightstand for the last 6 months that you've been meaning to read.
Yeah, do that too. Right. So today we are going to talk about speed, quality, and cost. I was in a networking group one time when somebody's catchline was like, it was something like, you can have cheap. How's it go? Help me out, Christine.
Yeah, there's one about cheap, fast, or accurate, basically,
good.
Right?
Cheap, fast, and good. You can only get two. You got to pick two because you can't have all three.
The third one's sacrifice. So pick your favorites.
Yeah. So, and I actually use this a lot when I'm talking to authors who are trying to figure out which direction to go publishing wise, between traditional, hybrid. There are some things about Morgan James that are a little bit falling into the hybrid category, although it really is traditional, and self-publishing, and understand what's best for you. And that's what we really want you to come away from it, whether it's you writing a book, or if you're a marketer and you're in this network and you have a client who is, trying to build their platform, and they're trying to decide, whether or not they should try to find an agent, get a traditional publisher, or they should just, grind this thing out and slap it out on Amazon. Those are the questions that we want to explore today, so that you're better prepared to help people you might know in your network when they start asking questions about, how do I write a book? So I want to touch on editing because that's a subcategory of quality. So somebody came in through the Morgan James website the other day, and they punted him over to me and said, check out this guy's proposal and see what you think. And I looked at a sample chapter, and the proposal said that it was professionally edited. And I started looking at the sample chapter, and I was like, I don't know who you paid to do this, but it's not up to snuff for us. And so I had to give this guy feedback. And part of what we do at Morgan James is give people a heck of a lot more feedback, even if we're not going to publish them, than most agents will ever do. And so I gave this guy feedback, and I said, I really hate to tell you this. But I also took that chapter, dropped it into Word, and put notes in the margins for him so he could see that I wasn't just saying, oh, you need to hire another editor, but I needed to show him why. So for example, like 2020 is, what's the phrase? 2020 is, hindsight is 2020.
Yes.
You write the 20/20, like you're writing a prescription, right? Or something for the eyes. And he had it 20-20. And that's just a little proofreading thing. But there was also places where
little nuances like that you may not know. I mean, how often do you write that? Right?
Well, this is the problem is you don't know what you don't know. So you're hiring an editor, assuming that they know what they are supposed to know, but you get what you pay for a lot of times. And sometimes you pay for stuff and you still don't get what you paid for. So just like get in touch with somebody who's in the industry. You know, that's what I'm here for, is to help people connect with an editor that's actually going to give them. But there was other stuff too, like in about 4 pages time, he said, when I was a child, my mother moved us to Brooklyn. And it repeated several times. And I was like, so there needs some developmental editing as well as proofreading. Like the story is just like you're repeating the same at the same place, and we need to condense all this. So writing it really well is difficult. So if you want to produce something with quality, then you need to make sure that you have good editing and proofreading. And the quality question really is a question of, what is your brand? Because when you think about your brand, so my brand is like, it's cool if I wear a baseball cap. I'm good with that. And people who tend to work with me tend to be good with that too, you know. But if your brand is, you know, need to have a necktie or something like that, you don't want to put out a book on Amazon that has misspellings all over the place. And by the way, hate to say it, but AI is not there yet. Not if you really want the quality that we're talking about. So AI would have actually caught a lot more stuff than what that guy's professional editor would have caught, which is kind of sad. When you're taking money for something that ChatGPT could have done better, then maybe you need a different job, or I don't know.
Right. You have editing your book with AI is a very special process. You can't just run it through and then hope for the best. You got to give it some really good parameters and rules to go with it. And even then, it's not going to catch everything. It may actually cause some problems. So it's not as perfect as we would like it to be.
Right. And our publication board at Morgan James Publishing is scanning for whether or not the book was written with AI, and it very well. I mean, you can publish it to Amazon if you write it with AI. But if a company like Morgan James finds that if it looks like it's been done with AI, they're not going to be interested.
Right.
So the world is looking for genuine, fresh ideas, not things that came from like groupthink. So I know some of you guys. Good
words of advice right there, right? You want to be original.
Giver Marketing Network are pretty big on AI, and it has its place. So I don't want
it has its place. Absolutely.
I don't want to poo-poo AI, but in book publishing and editing and proofreading, be really mindful of what you're saying with that process.
Absolutely. If you're going to go to a publisher and you want them to publish your work, these are the rules, right?
These are the rules. We're looking for people who actually wrote their own book. Yeah.
Go figure.
Go figure. Yeah, exactly. So we we touched on quality and particularly as it relates to brand, right? And then speed. Let's talk about speed a little bit. So I love that I can put something on Amazon in half an hour, and if you have a really good reason and hopefully thinking strategically, not tactically, because our tactical mind is, well, this could be out tomorrow. Our tactical mind is I could write the whole thing with ChatGPT tomorrow, right?
Right.
But if the strategy requires speed for some reason, Christine, help me brainstorm. What would be a good reason to publish something ASAP?
You're going to speak at a summit and you're stepping in at the last minute and you need to make sure that you have a giveaway.
That's awesome. That's a great one. Yeah, actually, my first novel, I was looking for a traditional publisher. And then I had written a play also for stage and found a local theater that was willing to do it, to do my play, as long as I was willing to direct it. So I directed a community theater group and I self-published my book in time for opening night. So I did have an event that was coming along with the opening of the book. And then I was able to sell however many copies to the theater crowd, along with the opening night of the theater performance. So had a lot of fun with that. But yes, definitely.
Unless there's a reason, right? A lot of times you want to kind of take your time and do it right.
Because one of the things that I've learned from Morgan James is it's really not that hard to get your book in all Barnes and Noble across the United States if you take your time and do pre-sales on bn.com and get 300 pre-sales, which sounds like not that much, and it's not that much if you have 30,000 followers, right? But it's a lot if you only have 3,000 followers and you're trying to get 300. But if you can get that in pre-sales before the book is launched, so taking your time, right, up until launch date makes a huge difference in terms of how much attention your book gets when it's released. And so I love the idea that a lot of Morgan James authors have gotten at least one copy of their book in every Barnes and Noble across the country. That's how you move towards not Amazon bestseller, but New York Times bestseller.
That's really kind of exciting, be able to go into a bookstore and ta-da, there it is on the shelf. I could see that.
I mean, we have a local bookstore that's independent, and because we're a small town, I can go in there and get my books on the shelf. But then I like to go in there and just like walk past my shelf and go, look at that, here's my books. But yeah, I mean, imagine if you would just travel to some other part of the country and walk into Barnes and Noble and see your book on the shelf. That would be pretty cool.
So do you walk in and start signing the books?
No, I walk in and sign other people's books. Adam Fleming.
What's here?
What's here? Yeah, it's just graffiti, but whatever.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it talks. So speed is important to think strategically about. Another reason why you might need speed is if you truly have a hot topic that's timely in a way. Let's say you're going to write a short book of 25 to 30,000 words. And gosh, what would be a topic that would be not worth waiting around for?
Sometimes cutting edge topics. And I know with AI, things are changing all the time, right? So if you're trying to do something cutting edge, if you waited too long, that's going to be obsolete and you're on to the next one. So any cutting edge topics, I would think. Something
about AI, that's a really good, yeah, absolutely. If it's going to be dead technology by 9 months from now, you better get it out fast. That doesn't mean that you can't do some quality, but then what are you sacrificing? Cost. It means if you want to put
one of them up,
you want to put it fast and good, it's going to cost money, right?
Oh yeah. Or at least your time.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And you might, let's say if all you have is like cover design that you need to do, because you're just going to launch it on Amazon and get it out there tomorrow. where the cost comes in is doing a rush job with a really with a high quality cover designer. They're going to say, you want it when? Yeah, I want it by February 1. Okay, well, here goes the price. So there's always that dynamic between those, the interplay between those three. So, and yeah,
there's a lot that goes into the publishing of the book that I think a lot of people, if you've never published a book, are unaware of. And I know when you said, oh, if you're just going to do a short book, like what did you say? 20,000, 25,000 words. Most people who've never written a book are going, what? That's short.
I can write about 1,000 words an hour. So I could probably put out a 25,000 word book in a month if it was very focused, but the last time I did that, the quality was suffered. So I'm not going to do that again. Yeah.
Well, I'm loving some of these pitfalls and things that we need to keep our eyes open for. Right.
Yeah. So then the last thing we want to talk about is cost. So cost is one of those things that, as you know, like you can launch. A lot of my books have not sold a lot of copies because I didn't put a lot of money into marketing. Surprise, surprise, right? Like Amazon is just a big dark hole, a black hole, not a dark hole. It's a black hole that you just throw your book at and it sucks it in and goes, whoop, and it disappears as quick as a star would in a black hole in space, right? So what you thought was this bright light is now like extinguished, right? Unless you're doing a lot of stuff to market the book, which is why we're talking about it on Giver Marketing, because a book can be a great branding piece, but it can also really kind of go nowhere. So cost. I mean, there's so many different aspects to publishing a book that could cost money or not cost money, depending on whether you go with a self-publishing, traditional publishing, or hybrid publishing. And so maybe I don't know if it's helpful for me to just list a few of the more obscure costs.
I think you should, because I think if you've never published a book, you don't know what you don't know, like we said earlier. So give us an idea of what kind of things you might go, oh, there's a cost for that. I never thought about that. I need that.
Yeah. Well, one of the costs can be time. So if you decide to self-publish, you can learn everything on YouTube. You can read books and watch YouTube videos and learn how to publish your own thing. And the cost will be time. So you could learn how to do your own cover design. You could learn how to do your own editing theoretically. Although I will say, sometimes we write things and don't realize that they have nuances and innuendos in them. And having at least one other human being read through it could save you untold misery when they say, do you realize that the kids are saying this these days to mean this nasty thing?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's like, no, I didn't know the kids were saying that, So that's just to emphasize like the value of having an editor, a human editor. That's a cost that almost every author is gonna have, that you're gonna have to budget for. So I know we've touched on editing a whole lot, but maybe that's the thing to emphasize today is editing is just super important. It's hard to overestimate how important that is.
Now you said you get what you pay for. So when you talk about budgeting, how bad is this? Should we be cringing? Should we start saving money now?
Well, I've published books for just, like I think my first novel, I paid somebody $700 to do the cover design. I figured out how to do the layout myself. If you look at the books, let me see, do I have one of those here? No, I don't have one of those right handy. The margins are really narrow. Most books have like a nice inch wide margin around the top and sides. And the way I laid out my very first book on my own, it only has about a 1/4 inch margin. And I think I probably told myself, well, this will make it fewer pages, right? So I'll pay less for printing, but it doesn't look exactly right, So you can spend money.
A little bit hard on the eyes, maybe. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's legible, but it's not like it bled over the side of the page or anything. So it works okay, but it looks a little amateurish, I'll admit. And it's just been one of those things like I'm never going to take the time to go back and fix that and re-upload an
Right.
interior file to Amazon and whatnot. So you can spend some money, although it can be really pretty inexpensive to do interior layout. If you try to lay stuff out in Word on your own, be prepared for headaches upon headaches upon headaches. Raise your hand if you love to use Word as a design document. You're not raising your hand, Christine.
No,
No.
it's horrible.
No, no. So
last time someone sent me something, but I put it all in Word. I went, oh man. I wanted to cry.
yeah. Cover design. And then let's see. You want to get an ISBN probably of your own. It's called International Standard Book Number, or International something like that. Whatever ISBN
number.
It's the number that goes with the barcode on the back that you'll see on any book. So those cost money, and you don't have to spend money on them if you're getting traditionally published. If you're working with like Morgan James, it costs nothing because they own that and they will put that on for you. And it's something that I personally thought, hey, I'm going to publish 100 books. I need a different ISBN for my ebook, for my print book, and for my audiobook. So I'm using 3 ISBNs every time I publish. And so I bought 100 of them instead of buying one, because you can buy one for $125 and you can buy 100 for $600. So $6 a piece versus $125. Those are the kind of things that if you don't know, you might buy one for $125 and then someone come along later and go, oh, you need a different one for your audiobook. And you'll go, why didn't I just buy? Because I probably will write 5 books in my life. Why didn't I just buy 100 of these?
And if not, you can give them as, stocking stuffers.
Well, no, you can't. No? Well, you can't give away your ISBNs. They're kind of yours, and they can't attach anybody else's name to them, unfortunately.
So you better get writing.
Once you
get your money's worth.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of what I got to do tomorrow.
You're welcome.
Write my books. So, there's little stuff like that you might, sort of, well, I'll just buy one and then realize later, well, I need to buy 2 more. And the next thing you know, you bought 3 for $375 when you could have bought 100 for $600. Those are the kind of little pitfalls that you learn about as you DIY, right? So let me think. What are some other costs? I think we've mostly touched on the obvious ones. Christine, do you have any thoughts about?
I was just thinking about to have somebody design a cover, because we talked about the debate on AI. Can you have AI create your cover, or are you going to get in trouble for that too?
I'm not really, I'd have to ask. I'm not really sure about that.
That's an excuse to have you back on the show on a Tuesday broadcast.
There we go. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. And that's a really good question. I don't know that you would get in as much trouble, but again, covers are a little bit like editing. If you don't know what you don't know, then it can make sense to pay a little bit more for someone who's actually, what I'd be looking for, how many book covers have they done? Have they done one, or are they a graphic designer who's done all kinds of other stuff but have never done a book cover? Then I might be a little hesitant whether or not they can pull it off, because when you get to uploading it to Amazon, whether you're self-published or traditional published, oh, and by the way, the traditional publishing, they're going to do that for you. So that's not an expense. And with self-publishing, it is. And then when you go to upload it to Amazon, the specs are extremely picky. So you can get your book rejected real easy if you do the cover design wrong. And they have templates but you really do need to be a graphic designer to know how to use those. I would never, plus my graphic design skills, I'll be like messing around on Canva or whatever. And I'll be like, this seems pretty cool. And then my wife will be like, no, that's not cool.
What were you thinking? Right.
What were you thinking? Those colors don't go together. What are you doing? So
well, and there's so many different things that you have to think about, right? You're talking about the formatting for the book, for the printed version, for the ebook version,
right.
And like you said, submitting it to Amazon. Well, also submitting it to Google, right? Apple and more places, because I was just thinking I've got clients that have their own, Google panel, right? As celebrity status, right? If you've written a book and submitted it to Google and you're in the Google store, a lot of times they'll create that panel for you, right? Yeah. So if you want some of the extra shiny objects to go along with it, you got to know to do that. Yeah.
But I think you did ask at one point, so what are we talking? Do I have to mortgage my house again? Or, what is the real expense here? And I would say, if you want to DIY and learn a lot of stuff because you think you're going to do it a bunch of times anyway, and then do it again and do it again and do it again. Your first one might not be that great, but at least you're learning that process for yourself. Let's say you just pay someone for, cover design and interior layout, right? You might be able to get away with a budget of $500 or even less, and still get a decent cover and layout done. On the other hand, I've known hybrid publishers who say that they do a lot of marketing for you and they're going to make you a bestseller and this and that and the other thing and charge $60,000 or $70,000. And I'd be real cautious about that.
Yeah, that sounds kind of pricey. I've got people that can do it for a lot less than that.
I'd want to talk to some authors who had really gotten their ROI on it before I would sign with them. So
I've seen the Amazon bestseller option and them getting you on that for a couple of grand.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I would say between 500 and 10,000 is probably a good range to think of for your book. And that 10,000 will cover a fair amount of marketing stuff. So I don't know. I know we're probably pretty close to time.
We're going to wrap this up, but you've been a wealth of knowledge. We're going to have you back on the show again, because I know there's a ton of stuff that you have in that brain that we're going to pull out of you, because you have so much more to share. You have so much experience, and we appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. Now, for those that want to get in touch with Adam, here we go. We've got your deets up.
Yeah. So I would love to talk to anyone, and I would love to have you come do a free call with me if you're exploring doing a book, if you know somebody else who wants to do a book. I would strongly encourage you to do it before you start editing.
Sometimes it's nice to get that advice in place before you make all your mistakes rather than afterwards.
Or you make a lot of mistakes. Make one mistake and then come talk to me, and then you'll know how valuable it is.
Absolutely. So book that call with Adam at calendly.com/Adam Fleming. That's FLEMING. Get on his calendar. I heard you might have access to some really cool stuff too.
I do. I have access to this awesome little book called Jade, the story of a rising real estate agent that I worked on with our own Timothy Morgan. And it's a really fun little read about exactly what it says. A lady who does real estate, meets a cool marketing coach, learns a lot of principles, has a big problem in her business, thinks her business is ruined, woe is me, and falls in love and all that great stuff.
And falls in love with marketing. That's what I've decided. I haven't read it yet, but I'm assuming that's going to be the happy ending. I don't know. But if you want it, I bet you could sweet talk him. If you reach out to Adam, he could talk to you about how to get a copy of that. You hop on that call with him, calendly.com/Adam Fleming. You can have a conversation with them. So I'm going to take that down, take a screenshot of it, grab it, in 3, 2, 1. There it goes. And Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show. I sure appreciate having you here.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you, everyone. See you later.
All right. We'll see you next time. And that was Adam Fleming. We love when he comes and shares his knowledge. Fantastic. So keep the lineup running. We're having too much fun here. We have more fun speakers coming up this afternoon, but guess what time it is? What's that you say? It's time for the Networking Diva. You are absolutely right. And what I'm going to talk about today is your AI marketing tools, a solopreneur's best friend. You're like, all right, really? And I know we've talked a lot about AI, and I'm sure we have more people talking about AI. It is the hot trend. And we did warn you ahead of time that we were going to be talking about what's going on, what's really happening. This is our marketers, boots on the ground. These are people that are doing this every day. You want to know what's really happening in the world of marketing. You want to tune into our broadcast, because we do Tuesday broadcasts, Tuesday marketing broadcasts. So join us every Tuesday. Today is our special event, which are our marketing summit that we have every year. So this is an opportunity to really find out what's going on. So AI is the hot topic. So be honest, okay? How many AI tool subscriptions are you paying for right now? Those of you that are using AI, right? It's probably more than you want to spend. And how confident are you that you're actually using the tools correctly? And if you're not using AI tools yet, right, how many hours a week are you spending on your marketing? Probably too many. And that's the reality for most of us, right? You're the CEO, the marketing director, the content creator, the social media manager, customer service rep. You know, AI can help you with that, but there's so many tools to choose from, and it gets overwhelming. And I totally understand that, right? I'm Christine Deane. And as the Networking Diva, which is my business, right, my clients come to me for coaching and to get connected to the resources they need in order to be successful. I work with solopreneurs, small business owners, medium business owners, nonprofit leaders every day, helping them streamline their services. So if we haven't met yet, you're missing out. I'm just saying, I'm kind of cool. So when you look at who you want helping you, right, it's good to know what their background is. So let me share a little bit about that. So I'm the founder of the Networking Diva. My whole concept is it's marketing, but it's with strategy. And it's really, I only work with those that are on a mission to do good in the world. So if that's your goal, is to do good in the world, then you're my kind of people. And I love meeting you. I'm also have a role of Executive Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Momentum Tech AI, COO. These are all fractional roles, right? At AI Innovation Allies. Play the role of CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer for a lot of small businesses and small medium businesses. And I'm a former college professor, so I love the teaching space. So we're in my happy place right now. So thanks for joining me today for my happy place. So as we look at the whole topic of AI, this is something I've really been diving into, and it's not something I meant to dive into. It was kind of by accident. And so if you're like me and you tried to catch up, well, so now I'm in so deep that I can't imagine life without it. So you're probably ready to, think about how can I use my resources wisely? So today we're going to talk about the 4 core marketing functions every solopreneur needs, and then how to evaluate your AI tool strategy, not just chasing shiny objects, because there's so many new ones out there, right? That it's hard to keep track of what you're looking at, right? And we're going to talk about my personal recommended tool set. So that's kind of where we're rolling right now. And so are you ready? I have tested dozens of tools so that you don't have to. So this is my gift to you. My give back is to let you know a little bit what I've been studying with it and what I've discovered. So for marketing, right, you can make your marketing life so much easier. Right. So when you look at platform specific content creation, that's one of the first things we want to look at. Now there's 4 different areas, right? And we really want to look at not only the platform content creation, but also you can use it for SEO, powered content. You can also use it for that professional visual content that you need, and then the conversion infrastructure. So those are going to be the areas that we focus on first. So that being the case, let's jump right into the platform specific content creation. I know it sounds like a big mouthful, but think about it. Okay. You've written this great post, you put it on LinkedIn, you copy and paste it into Instagram, and nothing, right? You've just got crickets. Why? Because it has different requirements, right? So when we think, okay, I'm just going to create something and then post it everywhere, well, that's probably not the most effective way to run it, because what happens is it's a different kind of audience. They're looking for different things. So maybe you try Facebook or TikTok and you have the same kind of problem. You try and put the same content on LinkedIn and just copy and paste it in TikTok, you're probably not getting the same kind of thing, because you probably forgot to do a song and dance to go with it, right? But really what you want to think about is where your audience is and what makes sense for your organization, right? So when we're looking at LinkedIn, right, you need the professional thought leadership, and it requires a longer form content, right? So anything that you were to put on Instagram might not necessarily do as well on LinkedIn either, right? So Instagram needs more visual storytelling, right? So if you've got a business that has a lot of visuals in it, right, that's fantastic. Things are going to pull our heartstrings. I don't know about you, but my stream is full of puppies, okay? I'm just saying, you want to get my attention, put up some puppies. So where you want to put your content really depends on where your audience is. But if you're going to go across multiple platforms, you want to make sure you're putting the right content up, right? So when it comes to, for example, LinkedIn, not so big on the hashtags, but hashtags are huge with Instagram, right? YouTube, you need to have a hook, right? Within 3 seconds. You have to be amazing within the first 3 seconds of opening your mouth. Ouch, talk about pressure, right? So that's not going to be the same content as LinkedIn, right? So you can have the same types of content, but how you present it and how you do it needs to be different, right? TikTok's all about trending, feeling, that native feel, like we're real honest people and really authentic, right? Twitter, though, that's short one. I have to tell you, Twitter's not my strength, but you really need to be short, punchy, concise messages. And that's a lot of pressure. So you certainly can't put a LinkedIn post, which is a long post, into your Twitter feed unless you're just linking back to it, right? Because that's just not going to even fit. They have a requirement on how many you can put in, right? There's a limit, right? And Facebook's really about building community, and you need that community engagement. I know I built mine up to 9,000. So mostly by entertaining people, right? Telling jokes. So there's different platforms require different types of content. One size fits all content fails everywhere, right? Because each platform has completely different algorithms. And so what's going to kick one isn't going to kick the other. And they're constantly changing them. So just when you think you have it figured out, boom, it's changed. Right? And you're thinking, okay, well then how, as a business owner, or as a thought leader, or as a nonprofit leader, how am I supposed to keep up with this? That's the hard part, right? Even as professional marketers, it's hard for us to keep up, let alone a small business owner who's trying to run their business in addition to everything else, right? So the different algorithms, the different expectations the audience has, right? The different content formats, that's a lot to keep up with. And then there's the time killer, right? You're manually trying to optimize every piece of content for the correct platform. I mean, that takes so much time, right? You're looking at 2 to 3 hours minimum just to take that one piece of content and redo it if you're trying to do it by hand, right? You're going to have to research the best practices, right? You're going to have to rewrite for adjust the length, find the right hashtags. I mean, it just goes on and on. And it can be really overwhelming, right? So when you're thinking about all the things that you need to do in order to be successful on social media, and everybody says, post on social media, and you're like, oh my goodness, what a nightmare. And it's a lot for anybody, right? And you're not even doing this full time, right? That's the marketers. Hopefully you've got a, help from somebody that gives you a hand with it, because it can be overwhelming. But if you don't, as a small business owner, right? If you don't have an opportunity, how are you going to hire that many different people to help you with what you need help with? Are you going to hire somebody who specializes in Instagram and someone else who specializes in YouTube? Or, who's going to cut up your videos? I mean, there's so much to deal with. So if you're doing that 3 times a week, right, you just lost like 6 to 9 hours out of your week. I mean, that's huge. And this is where AI comes into play, right? This is really where it's going to sing. Right? So when you're looking at your solutions and your opportunities, you're looking for an AI that is going to know what the requirements are for the different platforms. It's got to be something that understands the algorithms, right? It's going to be understand how to make the content for each of those. And that's where AI really comes into play, right? It understands the audience behaviors. It's not going to be just generic content generators that go everywhere. So when you're looking for an AI to help you with this, you want something specifically, right, that's going to be able to give you a hand. Because when we look at this, right, platforms unique, if you tailor it for the exact platform that you're looking at, right, you're seeing an interaction increase by 60%. That's a ton. So if you've ever posted and you're like crickets, right, it's not kicking those algorithms. Once you post in a way that makes sense for that particular platform, the algorithms kick in and they start giving you a hand, right? Now your post gets seen by more people, right? So just some ideas to keep in mind, right? So when you're looking at, I want you to keep that in mind when you're looking at your AI possibilities. You want to make sure that you've got something that will literally handle that platform specific formatting and the hashtags and all of that for you, right? Because that's a lot to remember on your own, okay? So when we look at opportunities for bringing AI into your business, social media is one of those great ways to do it, right? You want to make sure that you're doing it specifically for that platform, and you're going to find that you have a lot more impact, right? So if you remember, platform optimized content gets 3 to 5 times more engagement and more, depending on where you're looking at the statistics, right? So that's really worth spending your time to do it, right? So you're not shouting out, hoping and praying that somebody's going to see your stuff, right? When you kick those algorithms, it really makes a huge difference. So you get the rewarded with that, and it shows your posts to more people. If you've ever gotten any comments from Facebook or from LinkedIn, or I know I've gotten them from Facebook where it says, oh, you've been posting quality content and we're going to, show your stuff to more people. Yay, I did it right. Right. There's a Facebook professional mode that also helps guide you through that. So doing the research, right, it can be done. It's just a matter of following the rules for the platform that you're on. And if you're finding that it's too overwhelming to do too many, right, focus in on one. But with AI by your side, it's a little bit easier, right? And that process becomes a little bit smoother. So when you're looking for types of AIs to use, make sure you've got one that is tailored specifically for the different platforms. Okay, so another thing we're looking at is the SEO powered content. All right, we've talked a little bit about SEO in some of the earlier ones. If you missed those, you want to hit that up. I know Tim Palmer was talking about it. So if you missed his presentation earlier, hit that. And we have more people talking about those kinds of things later, but great topic. A lot of times small business owners and nonprofits won't spend a lot of time on SEO, right? That's your search engine optimization, right? So let me give you an example. You spend hours, you're writing the perfect blog post, right? You publish it, and then who sees it? Hardly anybody, right? It's 12 views and they were all from your mom, right? So here's the thing. SEO can get so complicated. I remember I was hosting a networking event and our speaker had to cancel at the last minute. And so I had a good friend, Jeremiah Osment with Osment Media. And I said, hey, you want to talk about SEO? And he says, okay. And boom, launched into a 40-minute off the top of his head presentation about the 16 elements or 17 elements that he takes into consideration when he does SEO. And I was like, oh, there you go. If you can talk about it and just dive right into it instantly like that, you know your stuff, right? So that's really what you want is you want advice from someone or something, or maybe AI that knows their stuff, right? When it comes to SEO, it can be very confusing. And I know trying to create your content and then when you create it and then no one sees it, it gets frustrating, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting the most views you can. So most solopreneurs skip SEO because it just feels really overwhelming, right? There's a lot of jargon. There's a lot of technical aspects, right? Constant algorithm changes, do I need keywords? Is it key phrases now? Is it, right? And we're seeing all these changes and how many keywords, what's the meta description? What is that even, right? What about alt text, right? You get all these terms and jargons and you're like, I don't even know what this means, right? Not many people can walk into a room or bust into, 40-minute presentation on SEO right off the top of their head. This is one of those things the rest of us actually have to research, right? But it makes sense. SEO is kind of like your slow crawl, right? It's something that you're building slowly, trying to get more of that people visiting your website. But even now, right, it's it takes so much time to do that, right? You're manually doing the work. If you're looking for the keyword research, you're optimizing your search content, you're, writing those meta descriptions and adding internal links. And that's a lot of time you're investing on that. That really is a lot. So if you can get help, once again, the AI side, right? You're looking for something that is going to be SEO friendly. It's going to be something that's going to write that way to start with, right? And we were talking about this later, and we've talked about it a little bit earlier, right? AEO, the audience experience, right? Optimization. It's changing, right? Now you want to be found in ChatGPT and that kind of stuff. I think Rajiv's going to be talking about that next, right? So there's so much involved in it. And how in the world can you keep track of it all and remember it all? It's just overwhelming. And I know, what's the last time you went in, you counted your internal links that you put on your blog, on your website? I mean, there's just so much. I look at this, I go, oh my goodness, this in itself feels like a full-time job, right? Let alone the social media and everything else that you're doing, right? So it's not just about ranking. It's about creating content that resonates with your audience when they find it, right? So like I said, you're going to want to go back and catch Tim Palmer and coming up Rajiv's for more details on that. But what I want you to look for your SEO powered content, right? Ones that build in the keyword research, ones that will optimize it for that purpose, right? Search friendly structure from the start, not as an afterthought, right? You want tools that can handle the meta descriptions, that can write the alt text, will do tell you what you should add in for your internal linking. The keyword density and search intent matching, right? Which is what's going on with AI right now. So the AI should understand that people are actually looking what they're looking for when they search, not just stuff keywords in it, right? There's more to it than just keywords. So this is where your AI comes into play. So you want something that knows about all of that, right? Otherwise, you have to do it yourself, and that's no fun. So if you can bring in your AI, like we were talking earlier about how it's your employee that doesn't cost you as much as an employee, right? And can give you a hand with things. And I'm not going to say AI is a solution to everything, right? But it can certainly give you a hand, make life just a little bit easier. So when we look at AI, right, and using it for your SEO friendly content, it's the difference between content that just sits there and collects dust, right? And content that actually brings customers to your door. Right? Your organic search traffic, right? That builds over time. Like I said, that's kind of a slow crawl. You're building it as you go, right? And so a well-optimized blog post can bring you leads for years, right? And if you've been looking at it with AI, the same kind of thing, you might keyword search and then something, it looks for that perfect answer for you, right? And if it's long-term like that, that's a return on investment that you don't want to ignore. So if you need to pull in some AI to give you a hand with that, that might be a good tool to look at. Okay. Now, another area we want to look at is you probably want to have AI help you with your professional visual content. Okay. So when we look at, well, what does that mean? Right? Professional visual content. The problem is when we think about video, when we think about images, right? A lot of times, I don't know about you, but when I'm scrolling, right, I always say that, and I say this all the time, the idea that we have the attention span of a goldfish. Okay. So scrolling through, unless there's a shiny object on there, we just keep scrolling past it. And we don't stop a lot of times when it's just text, right? So this is where it helps to have your images, where it helps to have some video on there, right? You need those social media graphics, you need a blog, right? But all of this, if you don't know how to do media graphics, if you don't know how to create images to go along with your blog, if you don't know how to do everything to make the thumbnails for your videos, right? Who's going to make your logo? What about infographics, right? Ad creatives, all your video content, right? That's really overwhelming. And if you're not a designer and you can't afford to hire one for every single post you do, right? Maybe you've done Canva templates, right? But they look like everyone else's. Or you spend hours trying to do it, and then you still look at the end result and you go, ugh, this looks like an amateur. It doesn't even look good, right? So we have to pick and choose, right, where we're going to put our energy. And if that's just not your thing, AI might be a great solution to help you with that, right? I know I just used some recently some of the playgrounds we played with. We talked a little bit earlier. If you missed it, Oz was on David Oz Ostersee was talking about AI images. So if you wanted to learn more about that one, pop back and watch that one again. But I've used it recently with clients, and somebody didn't have a smiling picture. I put it in there. I uploaded it to Nano Banana, and I told them I wanted them to smile. And sure enough, I suddenly had a nice professional headshot with the person smiling. So little things like that, right? But it takes time to go out and do a photo shoot or to do a video shoot, right? So when we've got AI to give us a hand with that, now you've got some creatives that you can use, right? Some images you can use that didn't take you as much time or cost you as much as having to go out and do a whole photo shoot, right? But you have options now. AI can help you with this kind of stuff. Just a learning curve along with any new program that you learn, right? So keep that in mind that you have options and take advantage of them. Why not? Right? So if you don't know how to do a logo, we have programs that literally will do that. So keep your eyes open for those AI programs that do exactly what you need. We can't learn everything, right? Marketing is a huge area. And even among smart marketers, we're not all specialists in every area, right? So if you can come up with a way to make life just a little bit easier for your business or for your organization, right? Why not take advantage of that opportunity? So look for what it is that helps round out what you're already doing, right? Can you tell it's AI? Yes. And sometimes that's the point. If you've ever taken a look at some of Dustin Stout with Magi, some of the posts that he puts up, he'll put up these amazing images that he created using Magi. And I'm always impressed with recently he's sitting on I think he's at the top of a street light, sitting there at the top, right? And the spinning around. So you have the image, you have the video, you have it. So I'm pretty sure he's never sat on the top of a street light before. But at the same time, it's just interesting enough to catch our eye and something different, right? So whatever it is that you're going to do, embrace it, make sure it's on brand, right? And have some fun with it. But explore some AI tools, right? So find one that offer exactly what you're looking for. Right. So what to look for when you're doing your AI tools, right? Platform appropriate visuals, not just generic stock images, which is a lot of times you'll get from Canva, right? Because so many people have it. So you're seeing the same thing over and over again, right? You want image generation, intelligent image editing, video creation, repurposing, thumbnail optimization. There's so many different ways to do all that, right? And when you go through and you actually do it, you get results that you'll be so surprised, right? If you missed the presentation earlier with Keisha King, she was talking about video, and video has a huge impact, right? So you want to look for tools that maintain your brand consistency across everything you create, right? Things that will automatically size your content even better for the different platforms, right? The AI should understand that design principles that you don't have time to learn yourself, right? But it really helps with your brand when you've got something that looks professional, right? So the visual content is 40 times more likely to be shared. And I've had posts that have gone viral before, and it's amazing. And once it takes off and the algorithms kick in, it will keep getting shared over and over, and it'll last for a while. So if you're not taking advantage of the opportunity to add visuals, right, you're missing out on an opportunity. So it's going to produce so much better than the text-only content. It's more likely to get shared, and video content specifically generates, can you believe that? 1,200% more shares than text and images combined. That's mind-blowing, right? So if you're not currently doing video, you might want to think about that. And if you don't have the time, if you don't have the talent, you don't have the money to hire somebody to do it for you, this might be a time to consider looking for tools with an AI, right? The big thing about it is looking professional, right? You don't want to put anything up that isn't on brand and isn't professional, because people are going to judge you and your credibility within those first few seconds. That whole judge a book by its cover is a true thing. So you want to make sure that you've got high quality and it's looking good, right? Those amateur visuals signal like amateur business, right? They think, oh, well, their work's like that, right? Is that somebody I want to work with? Fourth area is going to be your conversion infrastructure. Now, that's a fancy way of saying, how do you get people to convert from prospects into signed contracts and real business, right? And if you can have AI help with that, that sounds like fun to me, right? Yeah, who doesn't want to convert more people from prospect into client status, right? But that's sometimes a hard thing to do, right? The truth of the matter is it's a lot of techie stuff that comes along with this when you think about it. So, you'd have a landing page, email sequences, chat bots, website builders, right? There's so many different things, but it's very techie, right? You don't know, maybe you're not a professional copywriter, right? Maybe you can't afford to have a developer develop everything for you, right? And pretty templates don't necessarily convert, and you need the conversion if you want to stay in business, right? So driving traffic is different than having people engage, and then having them engage is a different step than getting them to actually buy, right? So if nobody's buying and your bank account doesn't match your followers, which happens quite often, right? Just because somebody has a lot of followers doesn't mean they have it set conversion, so they're making money on the other side of that. So that's an important part of your business. And when I coach my clients, a lot of times we talk about what are your multiple streams of income in your business, right? And so you need to plan that in. And maybe you start with building your following, but then how are you going to convert it after that, right? I always say, make sure you collect contact information. So even if you were to lose your Instagram account or your TikTok account, at least you've been giving away freebies, things that you can get their contact information, right? So now you've got a mailing list that you can use, and you can keep that with you even if you lost your social media access, right? So you want to make sure you're monetizing what you've got. Things need to convert. So traffic means absolutely nothing without conversion, right? You need to have those steps in place for your sales funnel so that you turn those visitors into customers. But sometimes we don't have the skills necessary to do any of this. If you've ever tried to build your own website, and that's usually one of those times you're just banging your head against the wall going, oh my goodness, if that's not your thing, right, it's going to be frustrating. So a lot of times, but hiring a web designer, right, I've seen it, on Fiverr for not that expensive, but then I've also seen people spend tens of thousands plus on a website, depending on what you're looking for, right? But it's got to convert. Otherwise, it doesn't do you any good. So what you're looking for with your AI conversion, right? You want AI that builds conversion focused assets based on proven frameworks. You're like, what? It's got to be, basically, it can't be just a pretty template. It can't just look good. It's got to actually be functional, right? So you want tools that understand conversion psychology, right? They use persuasive copywriting formulas, and they're built to what actually works for conversion, right? So you want to make sure when you're looking at your AI options that they're actually building those websites to convert, and email tools, right, that are going to craft sequences that nurture leads and chatbots, right, that guide visitors towards purchase, right? The whole goal in the end is for them to make a purchase, right? So you want to make sure when you're looking at your AI that you're picking out AI programs that are going to prioritize that conversion for you. Otherwise, you're not going to be in business very long, right? The AI should know the difference between a page that looks good and a page that makes money. Ideally, you want both. So it really does have an impact, right? If you want to, I don't know about you, but I look at these lists sometimes and I'm thinking, how in the world can a small business owner make it through all of this, right? Half your day would have to be marketing, right? Unless you had a team to help you with it, right? Or unless you had perhaps an AI helper, right? So you're going to get 2 to 3 times more customers, right? When you've got versus when you've got a professional page versus the amateur page, right? You're going to have better conversion, could be up to 10% on your website, right? Say traffic without conversion is just an ego metric. Kind of like vanity vegetables, that those vegetables have been sitting in your freezer for a really long time and you're not going to eat them, but they're there because they look good, right? So kind of the same thing. You want your website to not just be vanity, you want it to actually convert for you. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So kind of keep that in mind as we're rolling through. We'll be talking about website conversion when Nate talks. So this is awesome. I am really having fun with y'all. I just want to say thank you for joining us on this. I know we've got Rajiv coming up, so go ahead and give you access to the goodies that you want, right? So today we talked about platform-specific content, SEO-powered content, professional visual content, conversion infrastructure, right? And what you really want to do, though, is you want to scan that QR code, because that's going to give you my cheat list of my favorite AI tool set. And I'm always updating it. So come back, visit again, right? If you want to talk more about your AI tools that can have an impact on your business, right? You want to go ahead and meet with me, and I can either we can talk, or I can hook you up with somebody else if there's something specific that you want. I love being part of the Giver Marketing Network because we have 150 plus, almost 200, I think, marketers now. So you have options. So if we scan that code right there, that gets you my freebie. And if you scan this code, that'll get you on a call with me. And I love making new friends. So if we haven't met yet, let's talk. I am here to help. I am here to serve. And I think I need to let the next speaker on the stage. So 3, 2, 1, and it's off. Okay. So our next speaker we're bringing on is Rajiv. And I am so excited. He was just like in China or something. I mean, he's been a globetrotter lately. And so I'm excited about having him on. Let's catch up with him and find out what he's up to. Hey, Rajiv, you ready? Ready or not, here you come. All right, hit that unmute thing.
Ready to rock and roll. Okay, hopefully I'm audible now.
No, not really. Your audio is actually having issues right now.
Oh, really? Oh, shoot.
How do we
Oh,
explain
that sucks.
So, do you have anything open in the background? Are you listening to the show at the same time that you're on it?
I've shut the YouTube. And
I'm going to mute myself and let's see what happens.
Let me see if.
Yeah, I spoke to you earlier today. You did not sound like this.
Yeah, so maybe it's kind of like a setting in your, like maybe it's picking from the wrong mic, maybe.
That could be it.
So
the bottom, you see where the.
Is that better now?
Oh, it's like magic. Look.
Okay. So he was picking from the wrong mic.
That'll do it. It was kind of eerie sounding, I'm going to say. But I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad we figured that out. So welcome, Rajiv. Now, you have all sorts of things on there. I don't know how to read that. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, so the Chinese is because it's an homage to, I was just in China, and those two characters there mean fire dragon. So I'm a fire dragon. That's my Chinese zodiac. And I figured, hey, Chinese is spoken by over 1 billion people worldwide. And given that this broadcast goes all over the world, there is a high likelihood that one of those people or a few of those people may be of a Chinese origin. And if they see these Chinese characters in my name, they will feel an automatic endearment to me to mention it like this up front. And I got to say, the red and the white just pops, it just pops so well. And red and white is used actually very often in China as well. So yeah, I think this is my small little attempt at socializing the Giver Marketing broadcast and the summit globally.
There it is. I love it. Yeah, we're broadcasting everywhere. So you just never know who you might stumble across.
Exactly.
Well, so Rajiv, I'm excited to have you here. For those that don't know you, talk to us a little bit about your background and what you're doing, what you're up to, right?
Sure. So that's actually in my presentation.
Well, then let's do that. Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, so I have it pulled up. I'm going to...
All right, we'll pull it up and then we'll pull it in there. So if you haven't met Rajiv, he's pretty awesome. I'm just going to say we've partnered up on projects before, and he's a lot of fun to work with.
Okay, so let's see. Screen sharing. Okay, share screen. And yeah, let's see if this works.
I think
okay,
it is.
Am I sharing?
There it is. Okay,
sweet. Awesome. So, okay, great. So the technology appears to be working. The subject of today's talk per the agenda is AI, PR is PR 3.0. And in common language, I love using language that is more accessible to people. So in that vein, the topic that you see on screen is AI is your BFF. So for those that don't know, let me break down some of the acronyms in those words. AI stands for artificial intelligence. If you didn't know that, well, you probably have larger problems than we can deal with in this moment. But yeah, take my word for it. It's important. And BFF means best friends forever. It's a word that I've heard for the last 10 plus years. Hopefully it's familiar to you as well. So where I'm going with this is that AI is your best friend. And when used the right way, it will serve you like never before. And if you heard the last broadcast where you heard Christine, she was actually talking a lot about AI, its versatility, and how it can do so many things for you. And it's about, and when you realize that, it'll transform the way that you look at it, but it'll also transform the way you look at business communication in general. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. And I'm so glad that you have joined me on this summit, the Giver Marketing Summit, and I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it. So here is a small little introduction to answer Christine's earlier question. Well, who is Rajiv and why should you be listening to him to begin with? Okay, let me try to answer that question, if I may. So this is me. That's me, as you can see. I look exactly the same, though I think I look a little bit better now after the Ozempic. So that's me. I've been featured. Some of my greatest hits is that I've been featured in the Guinness Book of Records. I helped Unilever get into the Guinness Book of Records by helping them with their most effective product launch campaign till date, which was the launch of Lipton green tea in India. We made the world's largest online jigsaw puzzle that engaged 300,000 people every day for 6 months. And that had never been done ever before by either Unilever or Lipton in any market, much less the most complicated market of them all, India. And the campaign was so successful that it sold out this niche novelty product in a very crowded category. It sold it out nationally in retail and wholesale twice, back to back, 2 months in a row. And that also had never happened to Unilever or Lipton in any market. Anyway, I'll kind of save you the gory details, but just take my word for it. I know a thing or two about marketing and marketing innovation and digital innovation, more importantly. I've also won several awards that include, but not limited to, Webbies. And I won that for Axe. We did Asia's largest mobile activation that engaged, I think it was 5 million brand interactions every day or every month or something like that. It was just massive. Take my word for it. I'm also currently a strategic advisor to various governments inside and outside New York and the US through my connections with the United Nations. And I currently am an influencer seen very often on social media. I do keynotes all over the place. Just like Christine just said, I just returned from China, where I delivered a keynote at the 110th US Panama Pacific Trade Expo. That was attended by, I think, about 300 to 400 people. So that was a massive, massive event in Sanya, China. I'm a reality TV star, author, cancer survivor, and cat daddy. Small intro about me, and I recently won an award at the United Nations for communication innovation. And the person standing next to me here is the former president of Kiribati, which is the country near Fiji. And it's between Hawaii and Fiji. Yeah, so that just goes to show that, you can trust my word for it, because I've been credited with this award by the United Nations for innovation in this area of work. And then we've worked with clients large and small for many years. And clients really love us because we're amazing at what we do. We're very results and outcome oriented. And they really like the fast results and the ownership of the outcome. And for anyone that's interested, I'm happy to share this deck with you. So diving straight into the matter at hand, why should you be bothered to even be worried about ChatGPT? Why? Well, the data tells us, and I looked this up just before this broadcast. So everyone is using ChatGPT right now. And what do I mean by everyone? By everyone, I mean everyone to the tune of 800 million people every day.
That's crazy.
Yes. 800 million people use ChatGPT every single day. Let that sink in for a moment. 800 million people. That's a lot. Okay. That is a lot.
So I think the question is, why would you not want to be listed as the best in your field?
Exactly. So if you want for everyone, part of the focus of this summit is to switch the paradigm and to go from chasing to attracting. And rather than you chase customers, wouldn't it be cool if the customers were chasing you for a change? Well, there are many pathways to achieving that outcome. I'm here to talk about one of those many pathways. And one of those pathways is when ChatGPT mentions to its users, 800 million people, that your business is the best of the best. And what happens when you're listed by ChatGPT that has done all the research under the planet, and after all of that process says that you're the best? Well, people take that as gospel truth and believe it. And what happens after that? They start chasing you, pounding your door, and demanding that you take their money. So I'm working on this book. It's got a catchy title, Explicit Language Caution. But the let's say the toned down version of the title is Shut Up and Take My Money. Okay, so that's the working title of my upcoming book. And one of the ways of the reason I titled that is because that's what we want, right? We want our customers to say, okay, listen, I'm convinced, okay, you're my guy. You're going to get me past the finish line. Please help me. Can you help me? Can you please help me, pretty please? Here, just take my money, please. Please, just work with me. I need your help, please. So that's what we want. And when ChatGPT says that your business is the best, that's what happens. That's the outcome. That's the outcome that we all want. And the whole focus of this presentation is to highlight the fact that when ChatGPT recommends you, you can be sure that that's what's going to happen. Okay, so ChatGPT is currently used by 800 million people every single day. It's being used by 1 billion people every single week. Okay, 1 billion people every single week. And this is the reason why you would want not all of these people, because everyone is using it for their specific reason, but the vast majority of your audience is definitely using ChatGPT because everyone is using ChatGPT. And in fact, the tide has shifted quite a bit. Some estimates, I'm probably going to get to this in the next slide, but since we're on it right now, the data tells us that ChatGPT usage is going to eclipse Google as early as April of this year. What that means is, in simple language, is that there is more people going to be using ChatGPT than they are using Google. Okay, more people will use ChatGPT by April or September by some estimates than Google. So ChatGPT will now become the default place where people go to search for anything, and Google will be the next option after ChatGPT. So this is the reason why you really want to be featured on ChatGPT. Here's the data. ChatGPT, Gemini, the AIs are going to overtake Google in 2026. And I just kind of gave you the highlight of that. And the source for this is Kevin Indig to 2024 research study. And then, so here's a case study. Since we're all very outcome oriented, it's all about the results, right? Mm-hmm. I can speak about I can extol the virtues of AI till the cows come home, but all of that is going to mean nothing to you. At the end of the day, you're thinking, why should I listen to you? What's in it for me? Okay, so let me show you what success looks like with this one case study. And I think that should paint the picture as to what's possible when you are listed as the best. And also, more importantly, what does that even look like, right? It seems a little bit of an abstract concept. The purpose of this presentation is to make it less abstract, to paint a picture for you so it's actually more tangible. And hopefully after this, you will be even more excited to want to be featured on the largest platform on the planet at the moment. So here's a case study of one of our clients who is a labor and organizational behavior expert in the field. And what we did for him was we boosted his credibility on Google. with a Google Knowledge Panel profile. And all of this is part of our approach to establishing credibility, establishing thought leadership, establishing domain expertise, and letting people know that you are absolutely the go-to person for anything specific. So this is what it looks like. So when you Google his name is Jason Greer. The AI preview here, in this case, the AI is Gemini, because that's Google's AI, and Gemini is the number 2 search engine, the number 2 most popular AI in the US. In fact, number 1 is ChatGPT, and there's a tie at number 2. The number 2 position is it has 2 spots, AI, Gemini, and Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. So Microsoft Copilot and Gemini both have approximately 15% market share in the US, and about 60 to 65% market share is ChatGPT, and the balance, I guess 10% is shared by Grok and the rest of them, Perplexity, et cetera, et cetera. But that is broadly what the data is on what the top AIs are, and obviously depending on where you look, you might see slightly different numbers, but that is broadly what it looks like. But anyway, back to what I'm talking about here. So when you Google the client, in this case, his name is by his name, because that's human behavior. You Google people by putting their name in. And then when it tells you that he's a nationally recognized expert known as the employee whisperer, that automatically just immediately calls out, wow, he's the guy. He's someone I need to know. If you're a business owner, industry owner, and you're dealing with some sort of employment labor issue, then he's the person you want to call, because you don't want to be in that issue for too long, because it could impact your profitability. And if you're publicly traded, it could impact your share price as well, which nobody wants, because when that happens, people get fired usually. And that's a bad thing for executives. Okay, so moving on, this is what the preview looks like on Google. Let's see what the expanded preview looks like. So this is what the expanded view looks like on Google. Now, if you look at this, it looks like a full-on resume. And it's intended to, because this is literally his greatest hits. And every single thing on here, the fact that a person can occupy this amount of space on Google, it's almost like a landing page, for crying out loud. It looks like a landing page on Google where Google is saying, look at this guy. Please pay close attention to this. And it's Google that's telling you. So obviously Google has mapped and crawled all the various sources on the internet. And after doing all that, it is then coming up with this result. So anyone that is featured in this powerful way, you're going to look at very differently than anyone else. And that's the whole point of establishing your thought leadership, establishing that you're the best of the best. And this is one version of what best of the best could look like, which is via Google Knowledge Panel. But I'll get to what it looks like on the AI in just a sec. And we were talking about being listed as the best on ChatGPT. What does that look like? Great. This is what it looks like. So when you're on ChatGPT and you're asking ChatGPT a question and you're saying, okay, who's the top labor consultant in the US? And it lists his company as in the top 3. Now that is quite an achievement, to go from being someone that a few people know, and then ChatGPT says that you're in the top 3. Wow. That is like you're leapfrogging over several incumbents, many of whom have been in the industry a lot longer than Jason has. Okay. And this is just one view of what it looks like. And when this happened, when we achieved this, it 5x'd his revenue immediately. And to the point that now he's so busy, he doesn't take my text messages anymore. Can't blame him for that, can't fault him. But hey, when you get busy, then obviously the client comes first. And I'm okay with that. Here's another view. Who is the top labor employee consultant individual in the US? So we're varying the search result. Earlier, the search was about company. Now we're talking about consultant, the actual person. And even with that, it lists his company in the top 3 again. So that is a further validation that, this person is someone that ChatGPT trusts. And if ChatGPT trusts this person, so should you. That's the subtext here. And the results don't end there, because AI is all integrated with each other. So if one AI likes you, Google will like you. And if Google likes you, AI will like you. Why? because they are all largely taking it from the same source. Because AI source is not the heavens. AI source is the internet. That's where it is taking the information from. And obviously, you got to package the information in a certain way so that the AI can notice it and realize it. That's a subject for another time. But the point is that you're on the internet and AI sees that, recognizes that, and says you're the best. Google sees that, recognizes that, says you're the best. And when these two key sources are saying that you're the best, guess what's the end result? You're going to think, oh, he's the best. I should call him. If I'm dealing with that, I need to call him. Yeah, okay. So this is what best of the best looks like on Gemini, which is the number 2 AI in the US at the moment. So on Gemini, we asked Gemini, okay, who's the top labor consultant in the US? And boom, here it lists him as number 1, according to Gemini. So on ChatGPT, he was listed in the top 3. And on Gemini, he was listed as number 1. So, well, I guess still technically in the top 3, but number 1 in the top 3. So the point is, this is what it looks like on, Gemini and ChatGPT. And as a user, when you are asking ChatGPT for advice, how do I do this? What do I do? What is the best approach for this? If you're in search or shopping for a service provider, like for example, if you're saying, okay, I'm new to networking, I need to find someone that I can trust. Who should I work with for networking? And when you put this, it's probably going to say networking diva Christine Deane. It's probably going to say that, right? Now, when you see that, you're going to think, wow, networking diva. Well, first of all, it's got the word networking and diva in it. So that's something that tells you right immediately, like, okay, this person is all about networking and she's a diva in a good way. So she's amazing. Take my word for it. She's flipping amazing. Okay. She is amazing. Okay. And if you get on a one-on-one with her, you will see that, you will realize that, you will experiencing that in 2 seconds. You will. Take my word for it. If not, I'll buy you coffee. Okay. How about that? That's my offer. Okay. So back to the conversation here. When you are listed as the best on the AI, like Gemini, you will have that kind of result, and people are now going to be banging down your door saying, shut up and take my money. Okay, moving on. We also got the client listed in the top 5% on Perplexity. Now, the point is, you might be saying, Rajiv, but didn't you just say that ChatGPT is the one that everyone uses? Yes, I did say that. And Gemini is the one that everyone also uses because of its connection with Google. But the thing that you have to understand is that the other AIs like Perplexity and Claude and Grok and all of that, all of those are carving out their own specific niche in certain specific use cases. So Perplexity, people like Perplexity because the way that it does research is a little bit different than everyone else. It almost gives you a deep dive on research where it validates its sources and presents its sources almost like a bibliography in an extremely well-researched book. So this is the reason why research-focused people, users, like Perplexity for that very reason. And there are several other reasons why Perplexity is good, and I won't get into that. That's, like I said, a topic for another time. I'm sure the next speaker after this will probably touch on that, but take my word for it. This is what it looked like on Perplexity, where we asked Perplexity, okay, who's the top 10, who's the best labor consultant in the US, and then it listed him as being the best, and it listed him as being in the top 5%. So that top 5% metric actually came from the search result on the AI, in this case, Perplexity. So Perplexity said that he's in the top 5%. I didn't. Rajiv didn't say that, Perplexity did. So hopefully you trust Perplexity a little bit more than Rajiv. But hey, pictures speak volumes, right? And here are the pictures telling you exactly what I just said. So you can believe every single thing that I'm saying. And then when I said that Perplexity has a very different experience as far as how it validates and backs up its search result, well, here you can see that it is throwing up various sources of the client, including the client's website, his social media, when he was featured in the news, when he was seen on ABC or CNN as a TV expert. So all these things kind of like come together. And one of my offers that I was thinking of is that if you jump on a conversation with me, I will give you a free hack on how you can get ChatGPT to list you. Now, this is not a silver bullet. This is not you do this and boom, you get the result tomorrow. No, but this will set you on the pathway of how to get it, and it'll get you thinking in the right way. Okay, so that's my offer. Definitely take me up on it, and you will definitely benefit, and you'll look at your business in a slightly different way, hopefully. Okay, so this is what the outcome looks like for the client on Perplexity. And then we even got the client listed as the best of the best in another way, which was getting him a leadership award, a leadership excellence award at the United Nations. So where am I going with all of this? The whole point here is that we're trying to get people to see the client as a thought leader, and we're trying to check as many boxes as possible, such that even if, okay, you don't like ChatGPT, you're that 1% person that doesn't like ChatGPT or Gemini or AI or Perplexity or Grok or whoever, you don't like them and you're saying, no, I don't trust it, all machine generated, I don't trust it. Okay, but do you trust him when he was seen on CNN or ABC? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Do you trust him when he won the award at the United Nations? Maybe you do. So the point is, when it comes to establishing your leadership, you have to go above and beyond. And it's not just sitting on your laurels. Yes, I was featured on CNN and ABC, and I got interviewed so many times on TV, and I was in the Wall Street Journal, etc. Great. If you've done that, amazing, awesome. Hats off to you. But the point is, it's a never-ending task. You got to keep that up. You have to always be in the media. And like Christine was saying earlier in her talk, it's an always-on process. You can't just do it once and then just say, okay, I'm done. No, you got to keep on it. You got to keep on it. Why? Because again, like Christine said, people today have ADD. They have the attention of a goldfish. They can't remember anything for longer than 5 minutes. And that's on a good day. Okay. So how do you get people to remember you? How do you get people to be top of mind? It's almost like advertising. So why do you see so many ads on TV? Because those companies, whether it's the pharmaceutical company, whether it's Nike, whether it's Geico, whoever it is, they're just trying to constantly be in your mind so that whenever you think of insurance or car insurance, thinking of Geico, or you think of Nationwide, or you're thinking of Farmers or whoever, right? So the reason why I mentioned these three is because these three advertise a lot, and that's why I remember it. So where I'm going with this is that when you're in the media, when you're on social, when you're publishing content, that is your way of advertising, because that's you putting a message out there. When people see that message, they think of you. They are reminded of you. And when they think of you, and if they happen to have a requirement for your services, there's a possibility that they may want to do business with you at that moment in time. So that's the reason why you always have to put yourself out there and constantly be in the media. There's no shortcut away from it, because currently the media landscape is extremely crowded and very fragmented. So what this means is that there are so many different sources that people use to get their information. And in order for you to break through that, you got to be on as many of them as is humanly possible. And this way, when you choose certain trusted sources, that kind of does the job for you. So when the reason why he didn't have to get this award at the UN, but the reason that he got it was because he was very conscious about getting an award from a very trusted source, a very reputed source. And when he got that award from the UN, his world really opened up, and that actually enabled him to do even more global business. He was already doing global business with clients all over the place in Africa, Asia, etc. But after this, that really opened up in a big way, because when people saw that, wow, he won an award from the UN, that made him even more trustworthy. So that's the whole point here. We're trying to establish trust and confidence. And that's the reason why we're doing any of this. And that's him getting the award, the Outstanding Leadership Award at the United Nations. That's actually what his trophy looks like as well. And he was standing near the former president and current ambassador to the United Nations, His Excellency Tito Tebororo Tito, the president of Kiribati, the former president of Kiribati. And of course, we have a second case study. I'll just kind of breeze through this really fast, because I hope that the first case study made the point that this is what success on AI looks like. And it hopefully paints the picture and convinces you that, okay, I absolutely need to be thinking on how either me personally as the business owner is featured on AI, or how my business could be featured on AI. So here is another case study. Like I said, in this case, we got the client recommended by AI and by Google. And both these case studies have many parallels. The one main parallel is that, like I said, when Google loves you, AI loves you, and vice versa. So in this case, Google loves the client. The AI preview is saying that if you're in the need in the market for a business valuation, then this is the client that you should consider. And the client is mentioned prominently as one of the top 3 options that they listed on the right hand side. And like I said, when you're winning on Google, you're winning on AI, and vice versa. And in this case, the client was listed number 1 on Google, whilst also being listed as the best by Google Gemini. And then this is what it looks like. Again, this is just a quick picture screenshot to show you what it looks like. And this is what it looked like for the client on ChatGPT when people were researching relevant keywords on ChatGPT. The ChatGPT then listed the client in specific search results which were very relevant to that client. So this is what it looked like on ChatGPT. This is what it looked like on Grok, when it's mentioning the client, calling the client out in the search result. This is what it looks like on Perplexity, which I've already shared the example from earlier. Perplexity, of course, lists its sources like a very advanced bibliography, and the client's website was listed in that bibliography. So this is what it looks like on Perplexity. This is what it looks like on Claude. And then we even got the client listed as the best by category. So perhaps it's someone's, dream and fantasy to be listed as the best CTO or the best CMO or the best, technology person or whatever. So we got him listed as the best CTO in the UK. And when Gemini validated that by saying, oh, this guy's actually the best, then that was absolutely his dream come true. And his business 10x the moment that happened, and soon after that, and it continued to 10x for the rest of the year. And this was last year. And then again, this is just more examples of what you've seen already. So I'll just breeze past it. So basically, who's the best, and the keyword here is who's the best CTO in the UK. And this is what it looked like on Perplexity and ChatGPT. And, they're all kind of basically saying the same thing. That's validating the result that this client, this person, this business, this company is the best. And you ought to take them seriously. This is what it looks like on Grok and Claude. Same thing. And then, basically, like I said before, if I know that I threw a lot at you, I hope that the main takeaway here was that if you're on ChatGPT, you will benefit. Okay, plain and simple. And one of my offers for you was that if you jump on a one-on-one with me, I will give you 5 hacks as to how you can get listed on ChatGPT as the best, which will transform you entirely. So there's several ways to get in touch with me. Sure, you can look me up on LinkedIn. You can scan this QR code. You can send me a text. And when you text me, I did that because, well, it's like you saying, hey, me, work with me. Okay. And the reason I did that is, well, 2 reasons. One is because it's unique. And secondly, because I have a sense of humor. I like to do things that make people smile. Hopefully you're smiling when you're looking at this. If you're not, well, talk to Christine. She'll make you smile. All right, Christine, no pressure. But
No pressure.
No pressure. And when you send me a text, what I'll do is I will, ask you, your name. You'll tell me your name, why you're sending me this text, and then I'll send you my calendar link. And then you can select a day and time that works for you. We'll love to have a conversation with you to understand exactly, who you are, what you're doing, what is your struggle right now? What are you grappling with? And this is just a get to know you conversation. I'm not here to try to sell you on anything. I'm not trying to convince you of anything either. This is just like if you have watched this and have questions, you can use that time to ask me as many questions as you'd like. And I will answer all questions directly without holding anything back. Okay.
I love that. It's a generous offer. People need to take you up on that. So what did they get if they scan that?
Yeah, so if they scan the QR code, it'll basically take them to my Calendly page where.
Oh, there you go. All right. So text them, scan it, whatever you have to do. Or I dropped in the link in the chat for to connect with him on LinkedIn also. So however you get to him, get on his calendar and talk to him, because this really right now we're talking cutting edge right here. This is cutting edge.
Yeah, and this is only if you want clients that tell you, please take my money. Now, if you're not into that, that's not your jam. You just love the hunt. You love chasing people. If that's you, no shade. But then please don't text me, and please don't scan the QR. But if you are people that you want to be the chase, you want to be the chosen one, then text me, okay?
All right. I'm going to take it down. So 3, 2, 1. There it is. Thank you, Rajiv. You always bring a ton of information with you. Hopefully people are thinking about how they can make this work with what their goals are with their business, their nonprofit, whatever it is. So take advantage of that opportunity to talk to Rajiv, because I know I always have a good time when I talk to him. He still enlightens me every time. Thank you so much, Rajiv. All right, we will see you next time. I'm sure we'll have him on another Tuesday broadcast. But as we're moving forward, next we have, oh goodness. All right, I got to tell you, he designs some of just my favorite websites. I'm going to tell you right there. And I'm bringing him on now because Nate, oh my goodness, I got to bring you up here. Hi, Nate.
Hi, Christine. How are you
I'm
doing?
so excited that you're going to talk today. There is just something that's so just unique. You have this way of pulling out people's personalities. Just you feel like you're looking into their soul when you look at the website you've designed for them. I'm just going to say that. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
Well, so those that don't know you yet, Nate, tell them a little bit about you.
Well, I was working for a nonprofit, which was fun. And I was working on their website and their social media, and it was going great. And then I realized I could be working for a lot more people. I could reach more people that do good for others. So I decided to get into business for myself, to do online marketing.
And what made you decide on websites out of all the crazy things?
Well, 20 years ago, I started playing around with websites, and I just really enjoy them. And the website, even the ones I made in the beginning, people enjoyed. So yeah,
you just kind of found your zone, right? That's kind of how I was with networking, right? I was like, this is a thing. This is so cool. I get to build relationships. Yes. Right. So I sounds like you were kind of feeling that same way when you're playing with the website. So
yeah,
I've got fun stuff. And I know we've got slides. You want me to pull them up?
sure.
You want to dive in? Okay, here they come.
And do I make them go forward, or do you?
You have the controls. Feel free to click them forward.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about essential elements for websites that convert. So the thing is, if you have a website, do you want it to give you warm leads? Or if you do, then there's ways to adapt your website for that. And so that's what we're going to talk about, and why. Why do you want, so really, why do you, I'm clicking on it, Christine, it's not going anywhere. There it is. Okay. So why do you want conversion on your website? Well, first of all, your website is a 24-hour salesperson, right? So it's out there while you're sleeping, it's out there, and it's converting people or not. And so we want to make it where it converts people all the time. And of course, the more warm leads you get from your website, the more you get ideal clients. And then, of course, your business grows, and so does your revenue. And it's a competitive edge because, you know, I see a lot of websites that really wouldn't convert, and they're nice and everything, but they're just not. I mean, people aren't going to stay on them, for one thing, you know. So if you have a website that converts, then you are having a competitive advantage. I click in the middle. Okay, there we go. So the first thing we want to do is understand the customer journey and what's needed for that. What's needed to move them along. So the first thing is they become aware of you. Maybe they see one of your social media posts, okay, but they didn't go to your website yet. And then you have more, like maybe paid ads, more social media out there. You're out there, and they see you about 7 to 11 times. Then they're going to be very interested in you. And so then they're going to go to your website and they're thinking about it. And then they get to consideration, where they're actively considering you versus another company. And so that's where you want your website to really shine. Once they're on it, you want it to shine so that they choose you. And choosing you has to do with building trust. And conversion is when that's the final stage where they do what you ask them to do. It could be click on this link to get to a contact form to contact us, or call this phone number, or click on this link for a lead magnet, a item that is, you have it out there just to draw leads with. And you get the emails from the people for it. So anyway, you have then converted your client now. So you have the client, and then you want to retain them for two reasons. Of course, you want to retain them. They're going to buy more services, Second of all, they're going to refer to you. So if you treat them right, then they're going to refer other people to you. And referrals are a fantastic way to grow your business. Referrals are like the best. They're worth their weight in gold. Okay, so what kind of messaging do you want on the website? Compelling. You want to speak to their needs. So you need to understand the customer. I just heard it today, KYC, know your customer. And that's so true for all of us. Know the customer, what are their needs, and then what are their pain points? So let's say somebody has a headache and they happen to be online and they're not even realizing they're going to find a solution to it. So they have a headache. Maybe you can address that, pain. If you have a headache, try this, right? And then you give them the valuable solution. Well, I'm an acupuncturist. I treat people with headaches all the time and really reduce those headaches. So it's the messaging. And as Christine mentioned, of course, all the way through this, it should be your personality, your values, your personality should come through, because that's what makes you unique. You don't want to be a cookie cutter of everybody else, because you may not get selected by your potential clients.
Yeah, I noticed with the compelling messaging, right? It used to be back in the old school style. We were teasing earlier in one of the talks about how, pulling people out of the 1990s, right? Remember, websites used to just be billboards, right?
Yes.
I sell
Mhm.
this, I sell this, and this is what I do, right? And it was just billboards. It was like taking the billboards you see when you're driving down the highway, right? And putting those on electronic places, right? I mean, that was pretty much it. But now we really have higher expectations for our websites, right? So they talk about compelling content and messaging, right? We're really looking to have that aha moment, right? When we're on the page of, oh, they're talking to me, right? It resonates with your people. So yeah, no, I love it. And that's one of the things I love about the website you design.
Thank you. And can you advance the slide? It's not
Absolutely.
Thank you. So one thing you want to build up trust, right? You want the leads, the potential leads. They're not leads yet, but when they get to your website, you want them to become warm leads. And you can do that with social proof, which it helps them trust in you more. So one thing you really want to include are customer testimonials, happy clients. What did your happy clients say? And so you put those on your homepage. I see so many websites where they hide it on its own page. And guess who doesn't go there necessarily? You know, they're on your homepage. You want them to be immediately wowed by your company. So put them on the homepage. Put all of this on the homepage. Industry awards, if you have any industry awards. If you don't, that's cool. But if you do, put them up there. They usually give you a little badge you can use. These happen to be from Alignable. I'm an Alignable ambassador, and I won this award 3 years in a row. And then,
heck yeah, you want that on your website, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And social media engagement. You can actually post, like, say you get comments on your social media. You can post those as well on your website. Here are what people are talking about on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn about my content. And so then there's another positive point of view about you. And then your client logos. It's reassuring for people to see that you worked with a bunch of clients. And what kind of clients did you work with? You know, mine here are quite a variety, but they all have one thing in common: is they serve people and they do good.
I know that feeling. That's probably why your websites resonate with me, because that's who I like to work with too.
Yes. So intuitive web design. As we mentioned before, you have to prioritize the user needs. You need to know what the needs are at first. Know what the needs are of your client, and then you want to put that front and center. You have, troubled by headaches. I'm going to stick with the head. I don't have a headache right now, by the way.
I don't know.
Are you getting one?
Maybe we want to pick a different topic than headaches.
Okay, dog groomer. You need a dog groomer. That's a little more fun, huh? So, but why do people bring their dog to a company to get it groomed? What's the need? What's the pain point? Maybe the
you know your audience now.
Yeah. What's the pain point, Christine?
That's right. There's a pain point, right? I'm looking for a groomer. I'm going, oh my goodness, my girl, she's a hot mess. Look at her. She can't see. It's in front of her eyes, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's what you want to talk about on your website if you're a dog groomer. And you also want to make sure that they can find their way around your website. They're not going to, hopefully they go beyond your homepage, but they're not going to if you have a difficult navigation system. So you want a clear menu with just 5 or 6 tabs on there, 7 at the very most. And then you want buttons that say clearly what you are going to give them when they click on that. Maybe you're going to give them a phone number. So, it's like, call us. Of course, you can do that much better way. Just put the phone number and have a link in there to call you. Anyway, so, but, like sign up for the newsletter, that kind of thing. So they know what they're getting. And if you want, and you can do the read more too. So, you have a short paragraph and then it drops down to more text. So it's not taking up so much real estate. Mm-hmm. So the more is obvious. It's okay, I'm going to click it and it's going to drop down. So there's another navigation aspect.
Yeah, that's true. Because it used to be you just designed a website. Now you have to make sure that it's mobile friendly on top of that. And then all the mobiles are different, let alone.
Exactly. That was the next point. Optimize for mobile. Because we've all seen websites that don't adapt to mobile. We've all seen them. We know what they do. They go off the edge. When you try to read, the font is way too tiny. The pictures overlap.
And it's so big and you can't get to the X to close it. So you can't do anything on the page. Oh, there's my pet peeve.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you want to make sure more people go on do searches on the internet with a mobile phone than a desktop or a laptop. So you definitely want to keep mobile in mind and test it out on several different mobiles if you can, like a tablet and maybe even 2 different phones. Get your friend's phone, etc. And then accessibility. Well, this is a big thing for me. Accessibility. What I mean by accessibility is that everyone can use your website. Nobody is left out. So if somebody is blind, you think, well, they're not going to need my website because they're blind. Oh, you'd be surprised. There was a sporting page, and that owner thought that the blind person wouldn't need their website, but he was very wrong because the blind person wanted to use it. I think they even had somebody they knew in that sport, so they wanted to look that up. So anyway, people will want to use your website, but if they get there and they can't use it, and if it's not easy to use, they're going to leave, no matter whether they have a disability or not.
Yeah, you have a solution for that too, don't you?
Yeah, so I have a tool that I put on websites that allows for a menu so that the visitor can select from the menu what they need. They need more contrast, great. It'll do that just for them, not for everybody else. If they need less contrast, the next person needs less contrast. Well, it'll do that for them, but not change it for the first person. So you see, every single thing they need is on there, and they just click on it, and then it saves it for the next time they come to your site. So they don't have to click on it more than one time, basically. But there's all kinds of accessibility tricks on the tool. So then, visual hierarchy. Well, it helps to have your headings in the right order. Okay, what I mean by that is by size. So H1 is the biggest. You want that only one of those on a page, and you want it at the top. And then you have your H2. It's a little smaller, and H3 a little smaller, and you get the idea. So, and then you don't pop a big H1 down below that, which people do all the time, but don't do that because it messes up your search engine optimization. The bots can't read your page very well because they want to look at all your H1s first. And now there's two of them, it gets them mixed up. So you want to keep that simple and friendly. Okay, boosting your conversion rate. So here's it's kind of a summary, summary. As we mentioned, the needs, the preferences, the pain points of your customer. You want an enjoyable user experience, like page speed. People do not wait over 2 seconds. I mean, really, not usually. If your page takes 6 seconds, they may be gone.
Instant gratification, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you want to test your page out regularly and make sure it stays fast. And there's ways to get the website faster that I do that too. You want the navigation. We already mentioned that. We want to be able to get through the site and know where we're going. Clarity, the buttons that say where they're going. What they're going to. Legibility is a big one.
Oh yeah.
How many people have seen a website where there's stuff you can't read on it? White on
They
light.
use some fancy font, and you're like, I don't even know what that says.
Absolutely. Yesterday, I saw a website with light gray and white font on it. I'm like, I can't read that, and I'm reviewing the website, so I'm letting them know.
Yep.
They need to change that. And we already mentioned accessibility, make it usable for everyone. And gather customer feedback. This is essential. What you can do actually is not just your friends, because your friends all say, oh, that's great, Nate. Oh, that's such a great website. You want to know, okay, that's nice. Now what's wrong with it?
Right.
So
we need constructive feedback so we can improve.
So find people that will do that. Either maybe your current clients, or relatives that are, hey, they're going to say it how it is, that kind of thing. You can also do testing, A/B testing. So you try one thing for a while, and then you try the different thing for a while, and which one works better for you. And, there's incentives you can have on your site for people to buy what you're selling, and you can vary those too and see what incentive works better.
Absolutely. I love this. So I would say take a screenshot of this. If you haven't already, pull out your phone, take a picture of that. If you're on your phone, take a screenshot, right? Because these are things that you're going to want to go back and look at on your website and say, ooh, wait a minute. Uh-oh, you might need some help.
Yeah, thank you. So lead capture. Well, okay, so you get the person to your site. How do you capture them as a lead? So there's lead capture forms. We mentioned, sign up for the newsletter, and then you get their email address, or you use a lead magnet, which would be maybe a PDF of something that's very valuable to them, but they don't have to pay for it. And then but they have to give you the email address to get it, which is, what I do once in a while.
Oh, I think we have one of those today, don't we?
We do.
We're going to use this as an example. Perfect. I love it. I've got a link to it.
Yeah, exactly. You can have pop-ups, but make sure it's opt-in. I mean, at least give them a very easy way to get rid of it. And it doesn't pop up again on the same visit or every single visit. You can, those are settings you can set on your website. So next.
There we go.
Thank you. So here's talking about a lead magnet. You want it to be helpful. If they use it at least once, they're going to appreciate it, and they'll appreciate you and more likely buy from you. Credible. So they need to believe it. So like if it's 10 ways to do whatever, you want to be believable so that they can try it out and see for themselves. Shareable. Now this is where it's really great. It's exciting when they share your lead magnet with other people. So then you've got more possibilities of leads. And then strategic, of course, you want it to be one that would turn leads into clients. So next.
And I just put out the link, so it's in the chat. Click on that link if you want to get Nate's free checklist. Click
Yeah, what it is. I'll tell you right now what it is. It's 10 mistakes that people make that really, they're, I would say fatal, but you don't die over it. It's pretty bad, so you don't want to be doing these 10 mistakes, and
because it destroys your credibility, right? And people are thinking, man, do I really want to do business with this person, right?
Right.
That makes sense.
To get that checklist, and then it'll give you a link, email address for me. So if you have questions, you can email me from there. So Metrix, you want to make sure you measure all your metrics that are essential for, you want to get website visitors, of course, but you also want to get like the bounce rate. When do they leave before doing anything on another page? And that bounce rate will tell you how, you got people to your site, but if you have a high bounce rate, your site is not reaching them. They're not appreciating it. They're not getting interested.
Yeah, something's not resonating, huh? If they're leaving that fast. So you want them to stay because they like what they see.
Yes, exactly. And there's a lot having to do with search engine optimization, which is a whole other topic. But you do want to keep it in mind, and you want to have someone or do it yourself measure all the metrics related to that. So, and then there's, when they come to your site, do they click on something? You can get that metric too. So that all of these are essential. So next, please. Thank you. So boost your conversion rates. So we talked about the client's journey. So here's a review. It's awareness, then interest, then consideration, then conversion, and then retention. So you want to make sure you understand those different steps of the journey. And then you can more likely get them to move along the steps. So, if they're aware of you, but they're not interested, you got to think about that. Well, what would change that? And you go from there.
Yeah, take a picture of this one. Grab your phone, take a picture, because you're probably going to want to take a look and see, oh, how do I have anything like this set up in my system, right?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And then metrics, it's really important to measure. As I mentioned before, you really don't know how your business is doing unless you have metrics. If because you don't know how many visitors come to your site. You don't know how many stay long enough to do something. You don't know what they where they came from. You want to know where they came from before, like, was it Facebook, then your website, then your Facebook is doing well.
Right. So if you don't know anything about any of this, stick around, because we're talking about conversions right now, but I'm pretty sure our next speaker is going to be dipping into the topic about metrics. So you're in the right place at the right time.
Good. I love it. Okay, next. Okay, here it is. You can scan the screen. Let me talk a little bit about what it is. It is a lead magnet. You can even if you just want to see an example of a lead magnet, get this. It's what it tells is 10 mistakes in web design, which is what it's called. But these are ones I see all the time that are really hurting the site. And I really, from my heart, I want people to do well. I want their sites to do well. And if they follow these instructions, their site will be much better, and that'll make me happy.
There we go. That's what we're doing. Spreading joy and happiness.
Yep.
One website at a time.
Yes.
I love this. So scan that or grab the link that was we dropped in the chat. Get a hold of that freebie from Nate. If you have questions, there's his contact information. Feel free to reach out. Find him on LinkedIn, Nate Chassé, right? Attraction Unlimited Marketing. So if you're wanting someone to take another look at your website for you, he's got a good eye for it. So reach out, have that conversation. So how much does it cost for this conversation with you, Nate?
Well, a short one, it's free.
So, there you go. So don't take an hour of his time or 5 hours or something, but
No.
have a conversation with him. He loves talking about this stuff.
I do.
He does. All right. I love that. Okay. I'm taking it down. 3, 2, 1. There it goes. Thank you so much for coming to play, Nate.
Thank you, Christine, for having me.
All right. We'll see you again soon.
Okay. See you.
All right. So we are thinking, all right, our minds are clicking about conversions and how do we make money with our business? I mean, we have just had a day of all sorts of wonderful information, and I am so excited. Our next speaker, oh, girlfriend, are you ready? I'm bringing Boshra up. Hey, girl.
I am.
Yay. So Boshra, I don't even know how to explain except that you're brilliant. She's got this brain. I'm telling you, what do you have, a PhD in what?
Mathematics.
Mathematics, right? So the rest of us, I go,
and when you're talking, I'm like,
right? Yeah, I don't even know how to balance the check, but do people even do that anymore? Okay. So when you have somebody that is brilliant and understands numbers, and then you've got, she understands metrics. Oh, right. This is somebody you want to know, right? So if you're spending all your time doing everything that everybody else has been teaching you, but you don't know your numbers, you're in trouble, right? So Boshra, I am so excited about having you come on and talk, because you're talking about stuff that is like a foreign language to me. I will literally admit it. It's a foreign language, but that's okay. Let me upload your slides real quick.
Sure. I'm very excited to be here. And if in this conversation we can bring only one person attention to the money that they're investing and basically wasting, it's going to be the whole mission for me. And
that is
really excited. Yeah.
Right. I mean, how many times do you spend even something simple like when I go back there, I'm like, oh, I'm still paying for that on a subscription. I haven't used that in months. Oh, I hate that. Right. We hate wasting money, especially business owners. Right. Every penny counts. And so making sure that you're using it wisely is so important.
True.
All right. So I think this is the one right here. Let's see. Haha.
Ta-da. Yeah. So basically, whenever and wherever you see the name of data you should see me. So I'm very excited talking about data, not just now, since I was a kid and I was building everything around myself with data. And they are saying that I was genius, but I was just, looking for a trend among the whole set of numbers and data to tell the story. I was very social, unlike a lot of mathematicians. But I like to connect with people through logic and data.
All right. Well, we're in the right place then.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to just make it clear here, we are not here to sell you anything. We are here to educate you. So I know a lot of business owners, a lot of people, they already have marketing agencies that they're working with, or they are like, thanks AI, they know how to do the marketing for them, right? But here we are teaching you a technique. If you don't have enough of budget to hire someone to audit your business, you can do it yourself. And by a certain level, you can say if you're wasting money or not. By end of this conversation, you have a little technique, not just on website, on anything that you are running in your business, even like, I don't know, in your friendship, in the things that you're spending, right? You can run this process and see, really, are you wasting? Are you gaining anything or not?
Wow. All right. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Awesome. So basically, we are saying that how to grow your business. Majority of us, majority of business owners that I meet, and especially I'm coming a little background coming from the corporate world, right? I have been with the 2 or 3 biggest financial institution in America. When we're talking to big leaders that they have been in the market for years and you trust their knowledge, and this is true, their knowledge and their experience in business is perfect. However, majority of them are guessing. They are saying that, oh, I don't know, like my gut feeling says that, right? But you're like, can you show me? Or you have a client sitting in front of you, you're like, oh my God, I'm excited. This is working. But they're like, can you show me? And you're like, oh, I can't do that, right? Because everything is just on guessing. We try to make every decision that we make very precise, very confidently, to make sure what we are planning for, what we are budgeting for is going to be successful. How we do that? A lot of us, as I said, we are doing marketing these days, right? Right. There is no way you can grow your business without marketing, right? Again, either you're doing that, your friend is doing that, you have a budget for that, you have a team for that. But a lot of marketing people, they are good at marketing, just marketing. They know LinkedIn automation very well. They know website design very well. They know SEO very well. They know every single of these marketing channels very well. However, not necessarily they understand the strategy behind the scene. If you ask them, how is my LinkedIn automation doing, right? They're like, oh my God, look at this chart. It's perfect. You have this many contact they accepted. You have this many response rate. However, when you ask them, okay, how do you compare my LinkedIn with my Google Ads? That is a big question mark that shows up. They are good at each of them, not necessarily good at telling the story among all of this and connecting the dots. And that's where I am coming to the game. What I do and what I help businesses is basically connecting all of these arms and legs of marketing and telling the whole story in one chapter, right? Okay, your Google Ads is doing good because of this. Your automation, LinkedIn automation is doing bad because of this. Now let's move the money around from this channel to the other channel, right? And we measure the KPI, the performance of every single of these channels with data, and we prove this is not what we built. This is your own data. And that's why I promise everybody your own data can make lots of money for you. Your own data is the source of scaling your own businesses. Right. Now, there
when you
are,
say,
go ahead.
Boshra, when you say KPI, can you help people understand that may not be familiar? If we've got some solopreneurs in the audience, they may not be familiar with that.
Absolutely. That's what, just go a little bit back to the previous slide. I'm going to explain it there. When we're talking about KPI, KPI is the key metric that you are designing for every single of these marketing arms and legs to measure the performance of that specific channel. And when you have all of those KPI and the metrics that is measuring every single second that data is working, then you're creating a very general KPI for the entire business that it has the legs and arms of those KPI for each of those channels. So these are like the wheels that they are all working together. If one get disconnected, the whole system is going to be disconnected. How you can create those KPI is really by questioning. You don't need to have a PhD. You don't need to have a PhD in marketing, in math, or you have 10 years of experience. Just a simple thought process that we're going to work through it in the next slides. You can learn, if I don't have money, how can I create a KPI? How can I measure my own business and the success of my marketing, right? Now let's go. What is this presentation that we are doing for, and what is not doing, basically? This is not a pitch. We're not doing any audit here. We are not selling any tools here. We are not saying, oh, buy this one, buy that one. We are just talking about your own business. And we want you to really set a 10 minutes here. Just you, yourself, and your business. This business can be emotional business, can be your real business, can be what you're doing at the corporate, right? Stay with us for 10 minutes, and I bet you get a lot after this 10 minutes for free, which barely you can find it out there. So let's go. You want to do a self-assessment. We don't need any preparation. We don't need any tool. We just want you to be very honest with yourself, because you're not asking your answer, just enter it here, right? You're just writing that for yourself. More honest you are, better response you get, right? There is no judging, no shy, nothing. Just let's write the true answer for each of these questions. Let's go. First question. Do you know exactly where your marketing dollars go each month? Close your eyes and really think about it. Either you know it, you know exactly $1,000 I'm paying for the Google ads, $500 I'm doing Facebook ads, whatever, right? Or you don't know anything at all. You're just giving $6,000 to your marketing agency and they're running that for you, right? Or you have a rough idea. Well, I'm not really capturing how much I'm spending each month on my credit card, but I know I'm spending some, right? Keep that answer. Let's go to the next question. Can you tie that spend, whatever, either you know it or you don't know it or you somehow know it, right? Can you tie that to the real outcome that you get? Be careful here. Outcome meaning really the money that you're producing, not the clicks on your website, not the click on your ads. The real outcome is the real conversion, right? It can be from your sales, it can be from your booked calls, or it can be like the payment process that you have, right? Just think about any style and see if you can tie. Let's say Boshra called me today. Hey, Boshra, where are you coming from? Well, I click on your Google ads. boom, we know that is coming from Google Ads, right? Just have it in mind. And next question. Would you increase budget confidently? Yes, no, maybe. But what it means, if you're saying that I'm spending $500 on Google Ads per month, if I ask you previous question, can you tie it to Google Ads, your sales or whatever? Yeah. Are you confident? If I say, are you ready to scale your business? Instead of that 500, are you ready to spend $1,000? If you're saying you can tie the outcome with that budget, next question. Do all your channels tell the same story? What are the channels? Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, CRM, service that you have, website, service recording that you have, money processing that you have. Do you know if all of them are talking? Do you know if all of them, if they are connected, they're telling the same story? Let me give you an example to make it more understandable. We have a client that she is spending $20,000 per month. She's a big corporate. $20,000 per month on all of these channels. Okay. Her thought, her gut feeling by her marketing department is all of her clients is coming from Google and the clicking on their website that they're booking a service. Okay. I challenge her and I bet with her. I said, let's do just one day. We visited their website and their business for the whole day. Guess what happened? The client was not coming from any of those. The client was coming from referral. And when we saw that, I said, okay, that was just the one day, 24 hours snapshot. Let's go check the whole month. She was like, oh, maybe it's just today. I said, okay, let's check. For 30 days, 87% of the client was just referral. That she is not spending money on that. So basically all of those money that she spent $20,000 per month was, I'm not saying wasted, but needed to be reallocated. And that's why we are saying all of your channels are telling you the same story or not. One channel can say, oh, you sucked in the business. The other channel say, you are gorgeous, you're glowing, right? Now let's go to the next question. If you had to move budget this week, do you know where you're moving at? Meaning you have $20,000 like the other client, right? We're not saying go 21,000 or 19,000, the same 20,000. But if you ask you, can you move it around and redistribute it between your channels? Do you have a good KPI or a good metric to tell you which section, which channel, which arm of your marketing should have more money in there? Question mark. Next. All of the questions that you answer, you are honest with yourself because you're not sharing with us. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. I was there too. If you mostly responded yes to all of these questions, meaning you have a very good clarity, not on marketing, on your marketing spend. This is very different. This is very, very important because some marketing agency get offended. We are not talking about marketing. We are talking about setting up performance package for each of these marketing to see which one is doing better and moving money around, right? If you're mostly saying maybe, meaning you have all those data. those data that can make money for you, but you don't have insight. You cannot tell the story. You can't just look around it and say, oh, okay, I know what to do, right? You're not there yet. And if you mostly say no, sorry, but sucks to be you because you're absolutely guessing and you are wasting money. Congratulations. I'm serious. Congratulations, because in my opinion, I love psychology. In my opinion, the moment of the failure or the moment that you realize, holy moly, that's the churning moment for you. That's the moment that you can glow in the dark, right? You now have all the ideas. You know what to do. I know what to focus. And now I'm going to run it from now. Never is late. And never say never. So next. But you're not the only one. All these patterns that you're seeing in the businesses, not necessarily they're my client, they're my friend. They're like, can you just make me a favor? And of course, they have a big heart. Yeah, I can just look at your website. I can look at your business. The main pattern that I'm seeing is there are a lot of data. And let me bet with you on something. Every single person, from a child that is just born, you are in the hospital, you're a baby, right? Those measurements that take from you, those are your data. You can forecast the growth of your baby based on just those little data. Don't laugh, but this is what I did with my twins. When they were born in the hospital, I was like, okay, now this and times this and plus this. So if someone says, no, we don't need this service because we don't have data, everybody in this world, especially now with AI, they have data. The issue is their data is not connected. I bet you if you are just a spa massage person, if I connect your Google Analytics, I connect all of your Google Search Console, you will see how much of data you have there. The waste is not the real waste. It's just a hidden trick among all of your data, which those are going to turn to an opportunity to scale your business or to grow your business. So you own everything. You just need an eye to capture those connections. Next. Real example, very quick. I gave you already one example, but in real business, we had a client from Houston. They were doing like HVAC business, and they were a small business. They had real money, and it wasn't really complex. They had multiple locations in Houston. So next. When we started talking to them, this is their real life by then. They were spending $4,500 per month for ads. Reports full of clicks and impressions. So it was right. They were running the Google ads, a lot of impressions and a lot of clicks. But when we asked them, they had no idea if any of their clients is coming from those ads. This is life before. Now, what was hidden? What was the issue? After the fact that we reviewed everything, out of that $4,500 per month, $1,800, almost 1/3 of it, was wasted on wrong keyword. The keyword was plumbing. It was not HVAC. So it has no relevance business, right? 40% of the form that was the lead for them coming from those ads, it was silently failed. It was not captured anywhere. People were filing the forms, but nothing were like conversion was not said, nothing. Their website was there, the form was there, everything was there, but no one was capturing them. Phone calls, out of that Google ads, none was tracked at all. This is the issues that we found. Next, budget is still the same, 4,500. The outcome is totally different. After we fix all of those issues without touching anything on their marketing, right? 68% increase in qualified leads from their form, from the call and everything, right? The cost per lead dropped by 40%, meaning if their cost was $100 per deal that they were getting, now it's just 60. So they are spending the same money, but they're getting more clients, right? And now they have zero wasted spend because everything is tracked. And if suddenly something is not working, now they are just catch it on time and they're gonna fix it immediately. Same budget, better outcome. All we did is just reallocation. Most growth, they don't come from adding budget, deducting budget, nothing. It's just from intelligently moving these arms and legs and the budget between them that they can give you the best outcome. And now, this is for you. This is almost the end of our chapter. The question that I told you at first, you can start asking yourself today. No matter your startup, no matter your corporate, you're working for a corporate, you're having your own business, or you have just like a little spa massage place. You need to start questioning yourself all those questions that we showed earlier. If you don't have any answer for them, I beg you, as I'm a business owner too, I was in your place too. I beg you, start questioning either your marketing department or marketing agency, or even if a friend that you have that can visit your website and connecting all of this. This is going to remove a lot of pressure for you, and it's going to create more money without spending more money. And this is really, really important to make your dollars spent more efficient. So start asking yourself. Final thought from me, if you're already spending money on marketing, you deserve to understand what's going on. Again, if you are having a marketing agency doing this stuff or marketing department, do not be shy. Do not be scared. The data, you own it. You already paid by your own business. Start questioning how much I'm spending, which one is responding, which one is not responding, and where is the disconnect. You deserve to have all of these answers. There's no pressure, no obligation. It's just clarifying, right? And if you need help, I'm telling everybody live now, I don't mind to help anybody. Just come to my link that you see here, schedule a call, or just go to infinitymetrix.com, or just to my LinkedIn, message me, and I can do the free audit for you. I can find the 3 free leak for you, and then I will tell you what to do to fix it. You don't pay me, you don't pay anyone. I'm just trying to help you and create that trust to scale your business, to grow your baby. Any question, Christine?
Just wow, right? I'm sure most of the audience is just sitting here going, A to B to C, right? And their minds are clicking right now. You know how many people's minds you got thinking about, yeah, do I know the answer to that? Maybe, maybe not. Or when's the last time anybody's looked at that, right? A lot of times you just pass the money off to the agency to spend it, but do we need to reallocate it, right? I think we were talking with Joel Snyder earlier today. He's going to be a good one, I think, for you to talk to. I was just thinking there's some other people we need to introduce you to too, because this is huge. I always say, if you don't know your numbers, then how do you know if you're winning or not?
And even like marketing agencies, people are asking me like, how can you be a partner? And I'm answering, they can retain more clients. When they have clarity with dashboards and reports and metrics and performance package for their client, more clients trust them. And maybe the current client want to spend more money to scale their business with them, right?
Absolutely. Because if you know it's successful and you know this is the return you're getting on it, right, then it makes sense to increase the spend.
Sure. Yeah.
So when you say book an appointment with Boshra on her website, and I'm going to drop that link.
There's a
into
calendar
the chat.
link that you can just.
There's your website. Go visit the website, check it out, find her on LinkedIn. If this isn't something you've been looking at yet, now is the time. If you want to build that business to scale, if you want to
Never say never. Never is late.
There you go. You want to make sure that you give her a holler and have a conversation. Right? I don't know about you, but I was like, ooh, yeah, I better look again.
You have a lot of girly conversation around that, Christine.
Absolutely. I love this. Thank you so much, Boshra, for just bringing your A game today and sharing with us some of your insights, because I'm sure a lot of people were nodding their head as they were going through, and they might be like, I made it through that one. Uh-oh. Somebody said uh-oh in that process. I'm just saying, probably more than once, right? So it's great to have somebody that understands the numbers. I like the words, you like the numbers. I'm telling you, we're going to get along famously.
Awesome. Amen. Thank you very
so
much for this opportunity, and hopefully people that were watching this enjoy, at least start thinking about their business.
Start thinking like run your business like a business. Crazy talk right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for Boshra. We'll have you on a Tuesday marketing broadcast one day soon, and we'll dive into some other stuff. But you are brilliant. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Oh my goodness. That was, is your mind blown right now? Are you thinking about all the numbers and okay. You know who to go to if you need help with that. But we are going to continue to play with numbers and relationships. This is going to be fun, because guess who we have closing out the show with us today? Last but definitely not least, because I thoroughly enjoy my time and learn something every time I talk with this person. So I'm bringing to the stage right now the one, the only Daniel Knight, CEO of Unicorn Universe.
Woo. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Christine. You must be just having just so much information dumped all over you today.
All day. We've had the best speakers, Daniel. And so, you're talking about one of my favorite areas of talking also. So I'm like, ooh. So I can't wait to hear what you're sharing with us today. We are going to have some fun. But Daniel, for those that don't know you yet, tell us a little bit about you so they know why they are amongst the greatest.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you, Christine and Timothy, and also shout out to Oz for connecting us initially. Really just feel super aligned with the Giver Marketing Network, and totally agree with you 100%. We always have really great conversations. I don't know if you'll be able to learn anything today, though, because we're really talking about referrals, and you're the networking diva, the referral queen, like whatever accolades we can give you for referrals, like you got them. So anybody watching you, anybody who knows you already knows that. So and I'm, like I said, going to be talking about how to leverage referral partnerships to scale and grow your business. And
one of my favorite topics. Yeah.
So yeah. So we'll see if you learn anything new today. That's a win for me. So
well, and a little bit more about you. So you've got Unicorn Universe, and Giver Marketing loves to partner with other organizations. You've had Unicorn Universe for a couple of years now or something, haven't you?
Yeah, we just passed 5 years in business with Unicorn Universe. Yes, thank you. And yeah, so everything we do, well, really everything that I do is focused on creating a world of more unity, abundance, and joy. And that's 100% what Unicorn Universe is all about, all through connections and powerful relationships. And so I love that we're wrapping it up today, because there's so much talk of technology, and you know me, I am technology's biggest advocate. However, I'm also a huge proponent of building relationships, and that there's going to be, if not there already is, a huge disconnect between people and technology and people connecting with other people. So I just think that it's super important. This is a marketing summit, so we're bringing in different ways to leverage referral partnerships and all that to generate marketing and attention and all that. So it'll be a good topic. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think we're kind of, you and I both love technology, but we love relationships. And so there's got to be a blend and balance between those. So I think we are the official bridge.
100%. Yeah.
So pull your slides up. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Do it. Awesome. So like I said, we're talking about how to leverage referral partnerships to scale your business. We're going to cover some frameworks and different things to generate explosive growth. A lot of what I do, again, focuses on partnerships. So yeah, so you can go to the next one. So like I said, we're going to be covering the keys to referral partnerships. Super critical that those are followed and implemented. If you want to have a successful business that is consistently receiving referrals, those are going to be super important to follow. We'll also touch on different ways to leverage referral partners to generate additional reach and attention in your business, how to create collaborative relationships that'll drive those results, and then talk about golden connections. I have a few different terms with these, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but these can effectively create a wormhole in your universe to transform everything and help you achieve your goals much, much faster as if you were to go through a wormhole. So we'll get into that as well in a little bit, and yeah, just have some fun. So, so who am I? Why should you even listen to me? Obviously, Daniel Knight, like I said, founder and chief executive unicorn of Unicorn Universe. I also have a mastermind called the 10X Unicorn Mastermind. So I'm going to be weaving in some of the 10X strategies to the referral partnership discussion today and having some fun with that. So I was born in Spain. Not a lot of people know that about me. I grew up in Utah, and then I just moved to Arizona about 3 months ago, and 3 years ago. Well, it's a whole different story. If you want to dig into that, we can chat. But yeah, about 3 years ago, and I love it here, especially as I'm watching everybody else get snowed in and people canceling meetings because they can't make it back to their computer. Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, it's just crossed 70 degrees out here. Like, you know, I'm out in the morning drinking my coffee in my shorts and a short sleeve shirt with my dogs running around and standing in the sunshine. It's great. I love it. So, and then I'm the middle of 7 kids. That's kind of a lesser known fact, but, you know, growing up in Utah, definitely fell into the stigma of having a large family. And yeah, that's been a lot of fun. So through the referral side of things, as Christine mentioned, I have created a community called Unicorn Universe. This has been, you know, my everything for the past 5 years, blood, sweat, and tears focused on creating collaborative relationships between our members that can generate referrals, strategic partnerships, and ultimately create wins that, you know, generate new business. So we've got about 100 members in the community now. We've gone through all sorts of changes to kind of really make sure we're supporting the right people and really just focusing on collaborations and referral partnerships. I've generated nearly $1 million in referral commissions, which is pretty cool. I was just running the numbers today to kind of see around where that's at. It's about 800 and some change, but hey, I'll take that. I mean, that's some pretty solid, you know, money for people to be making from referrals. And that's giving referrals, right? So that's been pretty cool. Myself, I've generated a pretty substantial amount through making those connections happen. I can't even tell you how great it's been on some more challenging months for a referral commission to pay for an introduction that I made, you know, 6 months ago. It's awesome. So, yeah. And then on top of that, I've helped facilitate referral partnerships, strategic partnerships, that have generated nearly $100 million in revenue funding through different strategies and things that we've implemented. And so that's been really cool to know that business owners have increased their bottom line through a lot of those relationships, and that the people making those referrals have gotten commissions as well. So
obviously Daniel knows his metrics.
Hey, you gotta stay on top of them, right? Otherwise,
you do.
Otherwise, who knows where you're at? So
that's right.
So let's get into it. And it's going to be kind of a different approach with how the referrals and the marketing come together, but we'll get into that. As anybody in business knows, referrals are the best. There's nothing better than having a warm introduction sent to you that is from somebody that who knows you, likes you, trusts you, passes that on to somebody else, and they're now sitting in front of you. And you can look into it, but referrals on average convert 3 to 5 times higher than a cold lead in B2B. And on top of that, they're going to close a lot more as well. Average close rate is 30%. That's pretty standard. I would say my close rate's a lot higher when I actually get a warm referral. But it's just a really incredible way to receive business. As great as it is to have, consistent leads coming into your system, those can be a lot of work. And a lot of the time they don't show up. They don't take action as quicker. You have to go through the whole rapport building and trust building part of the process, which is fine. And you still need to do that with referrals. But something magical happens when somebody says, hey, I know this person, they do what you need, you should chat. So I don't think most people here need to be educated really on why referrals are so powerful, but it's really worth keeping in mind if you don't have a solid referral strategy and system in place, that this is something that can really be a game changer. And if you do it right, it's honestly a powerful lever you can pull too. If things are maybe slowed down a little bit, or you have a new offer, and you're looking to get some feedback on it, when you have that system in place and you know which levers to pull, you can all of a sudden be on a call within a couple of days of high quality, qualified target prospects for you to communicate with. So super powerful way to do business. And again, having a system in place where it's consistent and it almost feels like you're running paid ads, that's really magical. Ask anybody, if you're going to fill your calendar with meetings with people you got referred to versus cold meetings that were set from an ad, I would pick the calendar full of referral meetings all day long, wouldn't you? Yeah. Cool. Next slide. Okay, so what's the key to any referral partnership? It's pretty obvious, right, Christine? Relationships. Hello. If you want to receive referrals, focus on the referral partnership, the person that you have a relationship with, and really stay on top of them. It's super important to have some sort of expectations set with that person. And one of the questions that I've been implementing in a lot of my conversations with people, especially strategic partners, is what can I count on you for, right? So a lot of the time we create these partnerships, we create these relationships. Somebody says, oh yeah, I'm going to promote you. I'll make all these referrals, whatever. That's great. But what can I really count on you for? It kind of puts the ball back in their court to tell you what they're going to do. And it just kind of creates another level of accountability. And so nurturing those relationships, super important. Making sure you're top of mind. You can do this in so many different ways, whether you're, keeping them in your email list, creating a group of your different referral partners, sending them referrals. I always tell anybody, the best way to get referrals is to give referrals. Pretty straightforward, but that's going to be the best way to make it happen.
Absolutely. I know with Giver Marketing, we talk about referral ping pong, right? Okay, I lob 3 at you, you lob 3 back, and I'll lob 3 more. So I tell people, I invite them to play referral ping pong with me. Whenever you want to play, let me know.
Totally. Well, and Christine, you're literally the best at it. you jump on a call with Christine and play that referral ping pong, and it's powerful. I mean, so powerful. We just created a container for it in Unicorn Universe where everyone's sharing referrals with each other. We had and I like referral ping pong. I like our referral power hour. It's a good name for it.
I think it is, right? It's a newer game we've started playing on a larger scale. So I think we're going to have fun with it. I know the last one was fun.
100%. Yeah. So, and Christine, I want to ask you this. How many referrals would you say you give for every one you receive?
That's a really large number. I was looking at my metrics the other day going, maybe I don't want to look at that. I always forget to ask, and I'll tell people, what do you want in return? I'm like, introduce me to the do-gooders that you know. And that literally just put the happy, good people doing good in the world in my space, and I'm happy. Doesn't matter if they close. It doesn't matter if I sign them on as a client. I just want them in my ecosphere, right? Yeah. So how you measure success might be different. But I'm going to say, I was just looking the other day. I think I've sent, I don't know, is it close to 600 referrals on the My Most Trusted app? So
wow. That's incredible. I mean, and here's the thing, you probably get referrals all the time, right?
Yeah.
And do you think if you were worrying about like, oh, I'm sending this person all these referrals, they haven't sent me anything. Like if you were worrying about that, I don't imagine you're worrying about that. Do you feel like you would receive as many referrals?
I think if you are relationship focused, you're more concerned about adding value to each other, right? 100%. It doesn't necessarily have to come in the form of a referral, right? So when we're building our relationships, right, there's other ways to do that also.
Yeah, 100%. And that just kind of leads me to the next box is giving 10 times more, giving so much more in value than you ever expect in return, leading to the next box. Don't really expect anything. If you're creating this relationship and you don't feel you actually have anything to give, chances are it's out of balance and you're going to be dissatisfied because if you're expecting something without any opportunity to give back in some way, or at least the intention, it's not likely to really turn into anything. And I've given hundreds and hundreds of referrals as well. The number that I've received is a fraction to how many I've given, but I know that because I've given so many, I mean, I'm, like I said, anywhere from 5 to 15 referrals in a week. People ask me all the time, like, where do you get most of your business? I'm like, referrals. I don't even know how, but I just have like all these meetings on my calendar. It's because of my referral strategy. And I have a template to respond when somebody, makes the introduction, and you've seen it 100 times. Just say, thank you for the intro. Would love to chat with you. Here's my link. Feel free to send yours if that's easier. Super simple, gives them a call to action. I don't really think much more about it until I'm about to meet with them. But I know that because I give so much and I follow the system and the process to do it, that's why I have so many.
You have to trust in the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those that aren't really, there's a certain balance in a relationship, right? At some point, they're not going to book more appointments with you to get more referrals if they haven't given anything back. So they kind of self-opt out of the process. Right. If they're feeling like they're not living up to their expectations, right? So it all ends up balancing out in the end.
Right. Yeah. 100%. So, and that, again, all of that really is key to referral relationships being successful, and giving. Just give so much more than you ever expect to receive. Just like is talked about in the book, The Go-Giver, you give and it will come back to you.
Whoops. I'm assuming he'll start talking again in any moment now. Well, so we're talking about expecting nothing. That's an attitude, right? It's the idea of abundance. So as long as you're feeling that feeling of abundance, that you can move forward with that and you're not necessarily like, what's in it for me, right? It's a different mindset, I think, when you start playing with relationships and how
and then the last part of this,
Oh, we had him and then he disappeared again. I think he's talking about the last part, which is date before marriage. That's my guess. Oh, and there he goes. I'm sure he'll be back in the studio in just a moment. But like I said, this is one of my favorite topics, right? The idea of dating before you marry somebody, that's good stuff right there, right? You can't expect them to hand you the keys to the kingdom until you get to know each other and build a relationship. Was that where you were going with that, Daniel?
100%, 100%.
See? It's like I can read your unicorn mind.
I was like, this works out. You know, Christine has the slides. She can literally run through this and she'll nail it. Like, I'll be good.
It could be, but we might need the slides again.
Oh, did you lose them?
I did when you got booted out. So you were just, see, this is what you get for talking about that sunshine and the rest of us dealing with snow. I'm just saying.
All right, it's in there. All right, let's go. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, apparently my sunshine does not fix Wi-Fi problems. So, yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the date before marriage. I heard what you were saying just as we were coming in. What I was just saying before it, you know, so lovingly tested my patience was just that creating a referral relationship is a good stepping stone to a strategic partnership. Because a lot of the time, you know, if you're looking at creating a strategic partnership with somebody, sometimes you can start with just a simple referral partnership, right? Oh, great. You have aligned clients. You have this aligned opportunity, whatever. Why don't we try some out first? You know, send me a few. I'll send you a few. Let's try out this partnership before, you know, before we sign it, right? Before it's inked in stone.
That's right.
So, and I discovered the arrows. I can do it.
Yeah, you found the arrows.
I didn't even have to tell you the next slide. So, so what are some things you can do? What are some things you can do to kind of date before you marry a potential partner, but more so to really create an increase in your reach with marketing? I think your referral partners, strategic partners, people that are working with aligned audiences are a really powerful way to generate additional exposure and collaborate with them to really kind of feel out what works and what's effective and what resonates with the audience. Obviously on, you know, Instagram and on some of the other platforms, you can collaborate with people where you add somebody to a post and it'll actually post it as if they did. That's a really powerful way to, you know, create leverage out of a single piece of content. Super powerful to share stages and podcasts and speaking engagements and things like that. Another really cool thing is to collaborate on networking events. If you and your, you know, referral partner are looking to find referrals to share with each other, consider putting on a networking event. Find an aligned niche that you can go in on, just like we're doing with this summit around marketing, and get all the people who are aligned with it to create a collaborative networking event. We're doing one with H7 in about a month, and we're collaborating on this speed networking event. Pretty aligned as far as like what our communities offer, who we're working with, and things like that. But I'm sure we're both likely to sign up new members from that event because of our collaborative approach on that, and get into new circles and all that.
Yeah, and it's not mutually exclusive. Most people join more than one group anyway, right? So it just makes sense. Why not, you know, get our people marrying each other too?
Right. And there are seasons, you know, going into, I think it was 2023, I had identified, I was capping myself to 7 groups, 7, which I know might not sound like that many to you, Christine, but to most other people, that's probably like, holy cow, that's a lot.
That's a lot to juggle. No, I'll give you 7 will keep you busy.
And it just kind of depends on how active you are, right? I like to really be active and engaged when I'm part of a group. So it's just going to have a better result, right? And it's going to generate more referrals, right? When you are showing up to these other networking events and you're really making a name for yourself, people get to know you. They get familiar with you. I was just at an event a week and a half ago. I was moderating the panel, but I had multiple people ask me, like, how was my event? Asking me, talking to me like I created the event, like I put it on, like I was the host. And I was like, that's so funny. I really didn't do a whole lot for this other than, show up and moderate the panel. I did help with some setup, but like people didn't think that it was my event just because of that. They thought it was my event because of how involved I am with the group and how, consistent I am that, and I do hold like a council position with it. So I need to take more ownership with that. But it was really more so because of the showing up. So these are just really different ways to get recognition. Marketing is all about touch points and how many times you're able to get your name, your message, your offer, your call to action in front of people is really everything. I would argue that for every minute you spend with somebody in person is worth 10 times the amount of time that they spend looking at any one of your posts on social media or anything, probably even more than that. And so you can get into an event, speak, whatever. It's going to create even more recognition. So obviously there are other ways you can collaborate with your referral partners. You can do a podcast together. You can go host a webinar, kind of like what we're talking about with the summit. You can leverage your referral partners, of course, for direct referrals, but then also those strategic partners. So kind of going into the who's is kind of figuring out who you can identify and work with that's going to create even greater results. And then ask your referral partners for interest to those people. So how are we on time, Christine?
Well, you are the last speaker. So you know what? We're not going to inconvenience anybody except our audience. So you do you, Daniel. I'm in it to the end.
We're pretty much there anyway. I just wanted to know because because this slide right here, the 10x partners, I call them a couple different things depending on which world of mine you're in. So I'll call them either wormholes or golden connections. But these are really those strategic partners that can take you from where you're at now and like take you through a wormhole to where you want to be. Imagine, a strategic partner that has already accomplished a lot of what you want to accomplish. They've already gone through those trenches. They've built the community. They've built the email list. They've built the audience, whatever it is. Those partners, you need to really nurture them for them to work out. But if you stay on top of it long enough, they can take you literally from where you're at and teleport you into a completely different business. And this is really how a strategic partnership, the right one, when it's nurtured right, can be 10 times more impactful than any other marketing strategy, because this effectively is a marketing strategy. You leverage their lists, you leverage their audiences, you leverage their clients. Maybe you can even incorporate your service as an option into their product or service. And before you know it, all of a sudden, they're just making the sales for you and including it as like a license or a subscription or like a bonus or something like that. And you can go from, 10 clients to 100 to 1,000 before you know it. And there are a lot of case studies around this that show people actually doing that because of those strategic partnerships. So who are those partners? And I really encourage that you think big with this because it doesn't hurt to ask and really reach for the stars. Reach for those partners that can change everything for you. So kind of backing into like who those ideal referral partners are is kind of identifying like who's showing up the most, who really loves what you do and has complementary offers to what you're doing. If you can identify those kind of people, they're going to make really great referral partners. The other thing that you can approach it, like I said, is kind of with the wormholes, is who's already achieved what you're doing. So I always encourage people to have like massive, crazy, totally unrealistic goals, but then identify if somebody has ever done something similar to what you want to accomplish. And if so, replicating what they've done to implement in your business can really transform everything. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel if somebody's already done it. Even better, can you partner with that person? Because if so, like that can really change everything.
Absolutely. It's amazing what you can do with the right strategic partners on your team.
Yeah, 100%. So I really encourage, spending some time and thinking about this, identifying what you want clients for, and who has those clients, who can really help you achieve those goals. That can really do everything. And like, I just so badly want to dig into this, but we're going to move on to it. But I really just encourage, again, spend some time thinking about, like, okay, how could I leverage a strategic partner to get me in front of other people? This is a perfect example, right?
Yeah. What does this look like, right? Is this somebody you want to get on stages and they know people that, have stages? Is it right? What is it that you can do? Normally you can find some way to work together. I love doing the co-hosting on the webinars. Obviously, it's one of my favorites, but sky's the limit, really. Think outside the box, and you need to be intentional. I often refer to intentional networking, right? So you're intentionally building those relationships. It's not just a monetary business thing. It's actually building relationships with people you like, that you want to do business with. Because if you didn't like them and they were your strategy or referral partner, right? Like, oh, that sounds painful.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why we say date before you marry, right? Yeah, cool. Well, anyway, and I'm happy to dig into this more with anybody. So, I have learned through a lot of the successes that I've created that it really is those strategic partnerships that that it kind of comes down to, that can really change everything. So a lot of those metrics that I shared earlier, it took a lot of swings in order to find the ones that really connected. But then it's it's the 80-20 principle, right? It's the one partner that the 20% that produces 80% of the results. And it's 100% true when it comes to referral partners and strategic partnerships, and why it's good to date first, right? So that you can kind of test to make sure that things are going to happen, right? But yeah, those have really created the majority of the results, is just a few key partners. So let's go to the next one. So, and I don't want to take too much time, so we'll just kind of fly through this, but think of these questions when you are identifying partners to establish with your business. Is really just, identifying who would make an exceptional referral partner. What is it that is complementary to what you're offering? Maybe complements your weaknesses with their strengths, or vice versa. You can think about, what one partnership, if you were to create this partnership, would literally just change everything, and then get after it. Start identifying companies that fit that description. I'm here on this Giver Marketing broadcast because of a community partnership between Unicorn Universe and Giver Marketing Network. Super powerful. I just talked about another event that we're collaborating with H7 Networks, which has about 1,300 members that we're going to be doing in February. And I'm doing that with so many different communities. And so what are those communities that you're leveraging, that you're really showing up in, so that you have a name that when you do collaborate, it's not just like, oh, this is random, never heard of this, but you actually have some familiarity built in. And then there are tons of tools and things, right? We talk a lot about the My Most Trusted extension, leveraging some of the different community platforms and things can definitely be super helpful. And then, yeah, just getting on the different stages and things and leveraging other people's networks. So I'm just going to keep this super simple. Okay. After a full day of marketing, I imagine that this has been touched on a handful of different times. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that this is essential when it comes to referral relationships too. You got to make it super clear what the problem is that you're solving for people, and make that solution super compelling. If you are going to establish a referral relationship with somebody, that avatar needs to be super clear. You need to be able to describe who it is that you're looking to connect with, so that they can identify those connections and make those referrals without a problem. And then this is kind of like a bonus item, is having like a free gift. a free experience, a free way for people to experience what you do and get to know who you are before, trying to jump to, whatever else it is, trying to jump to a sale or, making it hard for people. It's got to be easy for people to refer you, and that's going to create the most referrals.
Yeah, I love this. And, I don't think we touched on this nearly enough today. So I love that you have this. It seems so basic, but it's so true. If people aren't sending you referrals, but you're networking and you're building relationships, either they're confused on what you offer, so they don't know how to refer you. Sometimes they need help. Sometimes you might need to give them a script. Sometimes you might want to say, these are the keywords to look for, right? But there's some kind of problem with that. Or you're not asking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, that's what it boils down to, right? Or maybe you're not referable for some other reason that we need to fix.
Right. Well, and this is also a really good way to test your marketing messaging too, is with your referral partners. Share your offer, share your problem solution statement, your call to action, right? If they feel like, oh, this is a home run, like I want to share this with everybody, chances are that's going to convert really well on your ads and on your landing pages and your email copy and all of that too, right? And so those referral partners can become sounding boards because they have your best interest at heart, because if your offer is dialed in and they know that you're going to generate more sales, they're going to earn more commissions from it too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about, a lot of times people say, so what is it that you do? I go, I just did it. And they're like, oh, you just experienced your coaching session with me by the time you finished our one-on-one. And they're like, wow. Right. So experiencing is a great way to help. So sometimes the referral partnership involves doing what you do with the other person, right? In an exchange of services. I know Timothy Morgan with Giver Marketing likes to do that because it really helps him understand what the other person does, right? So they might swap services. That's what we call it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Well, and anytime we have something that's like just so good that we know all these people who it can help, it's really hard for us not to share it. Like,
we can't help ourselves.
It's an ethics thing at the end of the day. It's like, I know someone who needs this. I need to get it to you. Like, if you can create your referral process in a way that makes it, that makes that true, you're going to get a lot more referrals.
Absolutely. I was just thinking I'll get a message on LinkedIn. Somebody will pitch me. I'm like, oh, no, but you want to talk to so-and-so. Let me introduce you.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Well, that's it on this. So we're about halfway there, and the rest of it's going to come through being part of the community. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You like that? We're not. So that's all that I've got for us today. My gift to anybody here is really just join the Unicorn Universe community. All of it really focused on referrals. You can go to school.com/unicorn universe and you'll see the community in there. I also invite people to check out one of our connection events. We do these every Friday. Now coming on 3.5 years of running a virtual connection event each week, and all about just supporting each other with connections to grow our business. So, really enjoy that. Again, all of it designed to help create a world of more unity, abundance, and joy. So really appreciate you.
Abundance. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I dropped those links in the chat. So if you look at the chat, you should have it in there also, but scan that. That'll take them into what, the Friday meeting? Is that?
So the QR code will take people to our school community. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep. So free to join, really just kind of get a feel for it. As I mentioned earlier, it's important to have a free gift. That's kind of like our free gift, both the community and the connection event. You can get referrals and connections and tools and different resources through the school platform, and meet new people on our Friday calls. So, So that's pretty much it.
I'm going to say get plugged into the Unicorn Universe community. We like to play in each other's playgrounds. You know, we let you come play with Giver. Giver plays with unicorns. I mean, it's a happy place all around, right?
Yeah.
I'm H7, right? We do a lot of stuff with H7. So there are some organizations that I just think have big hearts, and their members have big hearts. So those are the playgrounds that I like to play in. So I'm going to say thank you so much. You brought your A game as always, Daniel, and we'll have to see you in the next unicorn meeting, huh?
Yes. Thanks, Christine. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think that does it for another Giver Marketing Summit. We do this every year in January. If you had fun, let us know. If there's something you want to hear about that we didn't cover during the summit, we can see if we can bring those experts onto the floor with us so we can talk about it during our Tuesday marketing broadcast, because every Tuesday we hit a new marketing topic. So we want to know what you want to hear about. Hopefully you found value in today. So if you want to check us out, you can go to givermarketing.com. That's our website. It's a fun community of marketers. And if you're needing help with your marketing, you want to come hang out with us anyway. On Wednesdays, we do, Tuesday was the marketing broadcast. And then Wednesday is our networking for marketers. So if don't be a lonelypreneur, come hang out with more marketers, team up. Let's have some fun together. And I just want to tell y'all, thank you for hanging out with us and have a blessed day. We will see you soon.